wish. If all of this could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with the wish, just a wish, I would wish this song came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with the wish, just a wish, and make this whole song come true. Boxer would be Papa, Jessica would be Mom, Day 9 would be my brother, and all my worries would be gone. I would not be plat no more, no, I would be Grandmaster. And every game I played or watched would have testosterone as the caster. Marine King would win 2 GSLs in his prime. Yes, it's time. Clyde would win a few as well, and I'd have Nada's muscles and his hair, then I'd hide. Cause the brood war pros would migrate and destroy us till we cried. Don't pinch me if I'm dreaming, I know it's wishful thinking. Uncle Waira, teach me special tactics when you are done drinking. Oh, it's so exciting, I don't know what is next for me. I swear I'll find you cracking and get you back that FO key. If all of this could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with the wish, just a wish, I would wish this all came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with the wish, just a wish, to make this whole song come true. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just a wish. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just a wish. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just a wish. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I would quit my day job, StarCraft would be live, Nesty as the best man, Lindsay Sporer as my wife. That would be so excellent, yes, that would be fantastic. It could happen when I say these things, I'm not being sarcastic. In Control would take an MLG, and I bet that Select would be singing songs about me. And I'd have Husky's fan base and his subs I can try. Thanks to every one of you for helping this wish come alive. Don't pinch me if I'm dreaming, I know it's wishful thinking. Uncle Waira, teach me special tactics when you are done drinking. Oh, it's so exciting, I don't know what is next for me. I swear I'll find you cracking and we gon' get that FO key. If all of this could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with the wish, just a wish, I would wish this all came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with the wish, just a wish, to make this whole song come true. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just a wish. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just a wish. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just a wish. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All this that I'm hoping for, I really don't think it's a lot to ask. And cousin Cats, please come teach me to do that ultra let's drop harass. My creep would spread automatically, and never shock, he would never be mad at me. I wouldn't need micro when there wouldn't be any Deezer to snipe foes when the ladder ring. Go, go, y'all. Every Terran that I played wouldn't call any mules, and the base would have no walls. And Colossi are so tall, make them just fall over when hit by a roach ball. There would be no cheese in my league, StarCraft would be on TV. Trust me, believing is key. Oh, and Slasher would be even mobile. This could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with the wish, just a wish, I would wish this all came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with the wish, just a wish, to make this whole song come true. All of this could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with the wish, just a wish, I would wish this all came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with the wish, just a wish, and make this whole song come true.
This is not one song not for you. I just do not know what to do. I keep on coming back, it's true. At 10 I knew my place was here. So leave your doubts and have no fear. The righteous path is clear.
Give me no heat, I'm about to cause a shake up. Why won't you just wake up? Why can you just take up bombs to defend yourself against me? Dashing young rogues can be up unconsecrated. Has to stand elated even when berated. Wish you could just see what I see. The gates have opened once again. No Winter Valley, Summer Sand. And all my friends, they tell me,
yeah, you got class, yeah, you got style. How will you make it at 85? This world's a battleground. You're lucky even now to be alive.
from the ruins to the flag, I'll take it back. I'll strike you down. I'll strike you down. Young to get everywhere I look around me. No one can down me, trying to compound me. We don't play this game with no APM, no APM, no APM. I can play this game with no APM, no APM, no APM. Look at me, hand on my mouse like it's good to be alive. And I don't feel the reaper even when the map is on Mountain E. I can show you how to roast a drone, I can show you how to climb the ladders. I can make a heart with a lonely pro, but I can almost get from plat to masters. I know how to plot up a sturdy plan, I can tell you about at least 30 lands. I know all the words to when I'm GM, and I'm proud to say I'm a nerdy man. Me and my friend saw flaming bush, me and my friend made a timing push. And guess whose point you took? I can play any race that I want, cause look, I can start a step with no metronome. No metronome, no metronome. And I can see your bass even when I'm home. Even when I'm home, even when I'm home. Look at me, just called to say that it's good to be alive. On such a small map, I'm all toted up and immune to cheese. I can save money, open up with 6 stores. I can make a living off an ad and stream. I can design an army just with 4 professors for your mass marines. I can make new Protoss robotics. I can make a ruler provide chaotic conditions. I know how to run from Vikings, and I can turn your whole mind psychotic. Mutas, stalkers, cattle bruisers. Me and my team making random units. I see your links, I patrol the distance. I can push anywhere with no resistance. But I can lose the game if I overdrone. If I overdrone, if I overdrone, then I can make it splash in your spawning pool, in your spawning pool, in your spawning pool. So good to be surviving is drop. My creep is global, Zelnaga secured. My army is mobile, you're crying, ignored. I can send out a million hallucinations, make them tap out from his lack of patience. Life as his army's evaporating, I make it flip a table from aggravation. I can warp anywhere from my prism, just if you don't snipe it. And I can beat every single composition. I'm taking over when I expand, cause I can guide a nuke by a mini-map. By a mini-map, by a mini-map. And I can bust your main with the nidus worm, with the nidus worm, with the nidus worm. And I can end this all with the mothership, 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 with the mothership. This game with no APM, no APM, no APM. I can play this game with no APM. No APM, no APM.
If all of this could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with the wish, just a wish, I would wish this all came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with the wish, just a wish, and make this whole song come true.
Boxer would be Papa, Jessica would be Mom, Day 9 would be my brother, and all my worries would be gone. I would not be plat no more, no, I would be Grandmaster. And every game I played or watched would have Testosis as the caster. Marine King would win 2 GSMs in his prime. Guess it's time, Clyde would win a few as well. And I'd have Nada's muscles and his hair, then I'd hide. Cause the Brood War pros would migrate and destroy us till we cried. Don't pinch me if I'm dreaming, I know it's wishful thinking. Uncle White Rock, teach me special tactics when you are done drinking. Oh, it's so exciting, I don't know what is next for me. I swear I'll find you cracking and get you back that FO key.
If all of this could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with a wish, just a wish, I would wish this all came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with the wish, just a wish, to make this whole song come true. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just a wish. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just a wish. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just a wish. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I would quit my day job, StarCraft would be live. Nesty as the best man, Lindsay Spore as my wife. That would be so excellent, yes, that would be fantastic. It could happen when I say these things, I'm not being sarcastic. In control would his fan base and his subs. I can try. Thanks to every one of you for helping this wish come alive. Don't pinch me if I'm.
Guys, we're about to go live. Hope you guys are ready. I believe that the game is getting started in just a second. Go ahead and unmute my co-caster.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. I can hear you just fine. Hopefully you
Awesome.
can hear me in okay.
Yeah, let me just check your stream. Oh god, I'm very loud. Okay.
Hey guys, I'm Fear Dragon. This is my co-caster over here. His name is Curtis. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, Curtis?
Well, what exactly do you want to know? I'm a Terran player. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't like that. But I really enjoy studying StarCraft 2 as a game, and my background, I'm currently an MBA, hopefully trying to work at Amazon one day, so that'll be really good. And that's why I'm here. So, do you have any knowledge that you want to tell all the viewers?
So I guess just a little bit about myself. I myself am a Protoss player, so that gives us a little bit of insight into Protoss versus Terran matchup, our favorite matchup to cast.
Yes.
But yeah, we are basically going to be getting ready over here for anyone that does not know. I assume that everyone here knows. We're going to be casting the Amazon, or I should say Clamazon, versus Team Rest in Peace Zeez, which I believe stands for Rest in Peace Zealot Zone, and they're actually from the Something Awful form. And yeah, it's going to be basically a clan match. It's going to be a best of 9, and oh my god, I have actually already assigned 1 win to each of these teams on the screen. Overlay. Well, anyways, now you see how I'm going to be marking who's won what games.
Yes, it's very fancy.
Awesome. Okay, it looks like Curtis's camera is actually frozen right now. So do you want to go ahead and reset that really quickly?
Yeah, I'm trying to real quick.
And in the meanwhile, we're going ahead and getting invites over to the game. But let me just go a little bit over the format. If you have watched something such as the GSTL, the GOM TV Star League, or the IPL Team League, any of those kind of leagues, then you'll be a little bit familiar with the format. So basically, this is going to be a best of 9 format, which is a little bit different than those other tournaments I was describing. But the main thing is going to be that you basically play until you lose. So both players will both field 1 player for each of their teams kind of blindly. And based on that, those 2 players will play. And whoever wins will actually end up playing the next person on the other team. So you kind of just get a lot of strategy involved. You end up having situations where, you know, the other team will field their best player. So you want to submit out 1 specific player that's going to basically be able to snipe their ace. And you have a lot of that kind of strategy. You also need to keep in mind, like, okay, well, I'm going to send out this player because his PvP is really strong, but what if they just send out a Zerg player next? Then my player who's really good at PvP but sucks at PvZ is going to have a really hard time. So we're going to see all kinds of cool little strategies and stuff going on with that. And yeah, that's kind of just a little bit about the format. The map pool, I believe, I am not entirely sure, but I think that they had mentioned a list earlier on. Something around, I believe it was going to be GSL maps, as well as, hey Curtis, you're back.
Yay, I'm back.
But it was
just had a little crash.
It was going to be a GSL maps and the ladder pool, the current ladder pool right now for the season. It's happening, I believe. What is it? Season 7?
Yeah, season 7. I think they just announced season 8, but I don't know when that officially goes live.
Fair enough.
And unfortunately, I don't think I have even played a game this season, so that's very bad. Been very, very busy.
It makes sense. You actually just started grad school, didn't you? So.
Yeah, so that kind of eats up a good 60 hours out of the week.
Yeah, it can be a little bit difficult to find the time to play StarCraft. Even myself. I have been having trouble playing StarCraft because I've been so busy casting it.
Yes. But we were able to play a few games not too long ago, and that was a lot of fun.
Games. That was fun. I believe you stomped me quite a few times. But yeah, actually, we're looks like the games are about to get ready. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell them that we are ready.
I'm not in the game.
Oh, hold on. Gonna go ahead and suggest you. But we are going to have a Terran versus Zerg as the first match. The Terran going to be representing Team Clamazon. We can see the little clam up there.
Yes.
On Curtis's side of the screen. And,
It's a very clever pun.
Yeah, it's a pretty clever pun. And of course, then representing the Zerg player is going to be Team Rest in Peace Zeez, and it's going to be Cha Shui versus Zeez Penguin. And Penguin spelled with a W. I don't know if you could. I don't know if you
Like
knew you could spell penguin that way. Oh, I get it. Okay.
The players are very excited to start this, and it is a TVZ. Before I switched to Terran, I did play Zerg for a very long time, all throughout my Brood War career. And then after they started making Zerg better, I switched to Terran. Don't ask me why, that's just what happened.
Okay, well, we're actually going to go ahead and get started. The map is going to be WCS Daybreak LE. I never understood what the LE stand for, but it always
The
made
ladder
it cool.
edition.
Huh?
It means ladder edition?
Ladder edition? Oh, that would make so much sense. So we are going to be seeing Daybreak kind of given as the consensus because I think both teams felt that it was a relatively fair map. Generally, the win rates for all the races and all the matchups are relatively around 50%. But we're going to go ahead and get this game started. Curtis, why don't you go ahead and tell us who's spawning up here in the top right-hand corner?
Well, it seems like the player in the top right-hand corner is none other than the blue Zerg Zeez Penguin.
And apparently he's blue on your screen, but he's pink on mine.
Oh, do I have ally? I only play with ally colors, so my apologies. Yes, pink.
And spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a pause, but that's actually just the dramatic pause. We're going to have the dramatic pause there to make it even more awesome. We have the orange Terran player, Cha Shui. He is representing Team Clamazon, and also it looks like, pause is finally done. I guess they were just making sure that the chat channels were closed so that players could talk over there and kind of discuss what the happenings are in the current matchup.
Yeah, and sometimes for different computers, certain hotkeys don't work. Like, I sometimes have to Alt-Tab out a couple times for everything to be good, so it could have been a small problem like that as well.
Yeah, keyboard malfunctions and all that kind of stuff can be so annoying, especially early on. I don't know about you, Curtis, but like for me, whenever I have some kind of keyboard malfunction or like something goes wrong really early on, it just throws off my game.
Yes, it's one of the worst experiences in the world. Luckily, before I got into StarCraft, I was a very big arcade player in Street Fighter, and still am big in Street Fighter and Tekken. And if you've ever been to arcade, those joysticks break all the time, so I've had to adapt a little bit to that. And very similar to StarCraft 2, if like your A key stops working, you have to adapt very quickly to actually left-click on attack to move, which is a very fun challenge in the GSL that they used to have.
Gotcha, but it looks like this match is finally starting to take a little bit of form and some shape. Since we didn't end up seeing any kind of proxy 2-racks or 6-pool or anything, but we do end up seeing a hatchery going down for Penguin. That's pretty normal, right? Although he is getting it before a spawning pool, so what are your thoughts on that?
On this map, I don't think it's that big of a problem. The only time, because Daybreak is so big and so large, that early marine pressure is very difficult. This is actually one of these maps where the destructible rocks actually do something. But I really like taking a hatch first in this scenario. But it looks like Cha Shui is just going to open up a very economical. We may see a command center right after this, so the Zerg is in a really safe position.
Yeah, and we can even kind of see Cha Shui building up those 400 minerals for the command center. We even see it there now plopping down. So how exactly does a Terran stay safe when they're doing this very fast command center if the Zerg decides to go for some kind of all-out aggression? As we even see, like, the gas geyser has already been taken and is pretty much going to be getting up to 100 gas in the relatively near future for that Zergling speed, I assume.
Yeah, he's probably he only has 2 drones in this extractor. I don't know if that's intentional. It probably is a mistake. But he may just be getting the speedlings just to do some map control. I really like the 6-queen openings. It may be a little out of style now in ZVT, but that's how I would open up to feel safe. But coming from the Terran aspect, he just has to be very active with scouting to see if there is going to be like a very fast Roach Warren or a very fast Baneling bus, even though the Baneling bus isn't as popular nowadays. that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, in regards to that Baneling bust, we even see a little bit of a start of a wall going down for Trash Shui. We see the supply depot and the bunker already being placed down. So eventually, I guess he could go on to kind of complete that wall off. That'll definitely soak up a few of those Baneling hits and allow him a little bit more time to react to those Zerglings swarming into his units.
And we just have now the first 4 Zerglings that are getting a little bit of map control. They'll probably take the tower in which the SCV is sitting out.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. They run right by, completely blind. I guess that smoke screen is working exactly as you might say a smoke screen is intended to work. But now the Zerglings is actually getting repelled a little bit. Oh, actually, some nice little play from Trash Shui, unloading from the bunker, trying to snipe those Zerglings, stop them from being able to run straight past the bunker.
Yep, that's very nice. And we have a reactor that's about half done. I don't know if this factory is going to swap and then start making Hellions. That is a very popular thing. It's just going to make a Hellion first and going straight for a starport. So I would really like to see a Hellion drop come out, but we'll see what they have in store.
Yeah, one thing that I have to say I've noticed lately in the Terran vs Zerg matchup is that Terrans have generally just been going for that reactor Hellion open and eventually transitioning just into those Banshees, either with or without cloak, and it's just I feel like it's become the most standard build opener for a Terran player these days.
Yeah, especially after they changed the Queen, that became the norm of how to just kind of react. And even if the Banshees don't kill, the Banshees are then used a little bit for space control to pick out any creep tumors that they're trying to spread out. And if they do open roaches like Penguin is doing right now, the Banshees do high amounts of DPS towards them.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Now, do we actually see? We do see 12 roaches actually being
12 roaches in production.
Whoa, that's gonna be. Is that gonna be a big sign of aggression? What is he looking to accomplish with this?
Okay, so the roaches by themselves weren't aggressive, but now we have a Baneling nest being thrown down in the natural, right behind the minerals. And this, to me, says he's going for this 2-base roach Baneling all in, which it can be extremely devastating, especially since we only have 3 Marines in this bunker, and Hellions do not do well versus roaches at all.
Oh,
and we have 20 Zerglings right now. This is going to be very bad.
Oh yeah, and actually the Hellions coming in, but at the same time we do actually see in the production tab a Banshee with cloak actually being produced, and oh my god, these Hellions are making it out with the skin of their teeth, just
barely gets out of there, but he sees what is coming. We have siege mode on the way. I'm very surprised that Trash Shui hasn't done anything to build additional defenses. He's actually been storing up a lot of energy at his main command center, which is a little worrisome. And these Hellions see these Banelings being morphed, and they know that they're going to be in a lot of trouble very soon.
Oh yeah, that is so many Banelings. Oh my god, that wall off is going to do very little for Trash Shui. It's going to be some of the shots.
And she needs to start picking up the Banelings, not roaches, for shots on these roaches. But these Banelings is what's going to happen, and here we go.
Oh my god, the Banelings coming in, the Zerglings also swarming in. They're going to be able to get a full surround on all of those SCVs. Oh my god, so many workers lost just right there. And honestly, I think at this point, the Zerg players already going to be in a fantastic position. There's going to be the GG from Trash Shui. That's going to put game number 1 really quickly into Team Rest in Peace Zeez's favor.
Yeah, I mean, Trash Shui did get the right scouting information. He just did not react properly to that. As I said, one of the big disadvantages of doing that heavy Hellion Banshee play is to do a heavy aggressive 2-base Roach Baneling all in. And as we saw, that just broke in very easily. There was no additional bio, even Marauders to kind of hold off that aggression. And Marauders can actually soak up a lot of damage from both the Banelings and the Roaches. So usually what I like to do, if I see that, I try to make as many Marauders and tanks as soon as possible.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. What are your thoughts about maybe if Trash Shui had just thrown down a couple of additional bunkers or something, maybe made his wall off a little bit better, and then been able to do some target fire down with that Banshee on those Banelings?
So targeting down more of the Banelings will be beneficial. Throwing down bunkers in that position actually is not good for the same reasons as he didn't have the bio to even put up the bunkers. If you really want to try to make a wall off with buildings at that point, it's much more cost effective to use engineering bays, because the build time is relatively quick, and they have a lot of hit points for the 125 minerals that are being put into play.
Yeah, they definitely make sense.
But in that scenario, it would have bought him a few more seconds. But I think his siege mode for his siege tanks was still about 20 seconds away, and I don't know if that would have been enough to just buy that time.
Yeah, we did see that siege mode. Oh, so close to finishing, but it was just like, eh. I think it was going to be very difficult. He only had one siege tank out. It was on the high ground, so it probably could have done some damage, but
it would have done some damage, but the banelings could just rip through any of the defenses, even at the top of the ramp. That siege mode need to be fully completed before those banelings even came into play.
Yeah, definitely. It makes sense. Anyways, it looks like we're going to be looking to see who's going to be playing in game number 2. Now, of course, due to the format, we do know that, in fact, Penguin, living up to his name, going to be playing in game number 2 since he did end up winning game number 1.
Yes.
So it's going to be up to Amazon to find a player in their roster. As we can see, their roster is on the overlay right now. I don't know if you can see it over there, Curtis, somehow.
Yes, I actually have you up on my second monitor as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've actually ended up playing any of these kind of formats, but what is generally your thought process when you encounter some kind of this style of a team match? And you think, okay, well, one of our opening players, and actually one of the really good players for Team Clamazon, ended up losing their first game. So who do we field next?
Well, from a morale standpoint, just losing your point, you shouldn't be completely kind of hampered from it. Like, you need to put out a very strong player, but you also have to have players on your team that are ready to take on that challenge and who can adapt their strategy. So in this scenario, if they really think that Penguin is a very strong player, I would almost throw out another Terran, just to kind of, since they've already seen the TVZ today and how they handle it. So if you throw out another Terran who may open similar to how Chao Shui opened up, but just is more ready for either that Roach Baneling kind of all-in, or is able to scout for certain information to then adapt, or if Clamazon already had like a preset sniper, like I'm really good in versus Zerg, and that could be a Protoss, Terran, or even another Zerg. That's kind of the other philosophy behind it. Yeah. And it looks like it's going to be. I don't
think the players are actually in place yet. Oh, are they? It looks like we actually might be seeing another Terran versus Zerg. Actually, no, I don't believe so, because it looks like Penguin currently is set Terran. Unless he wants to change up his race, which, I mean, it's fine by me. If you are that good at playing all the different races, go for it. But very few people are capable of doing that.
Yeah. And so it looks like it is going to be Zerg versus Zerg. So let's see if you want to take a stab at this name.
Metzela Matiz.
Metzela Matiz.
I'm gonna call him Zelma.
I keep seeing TT. Like, that's what I see in his name, but
you
that's
guys
fine.
will see. Well, actually, you guys can see the name of the team roster, but the game is going to go ahead and get started. We are going to be playing this on Shakuris Plateau, WCS Shakuris Plateau. So, yeah, Zerg versus Terran. Team Amazon being on the left-hand side of this screen, and Penguin being on the right. So, Team RAP Zeez. Now, let's go ahead and introduce the players. Spawning up in the top left-hand corner. Who is it, Curtis?
Spawning in the top left, we have the Epic, the returning, well, not the returning champ, but he's going to try to be the champ, and he is the Orange Zerg Mietezlitis. TT, that's what I'm calling him.
Yes, we're just going to pretend that all of those T's are L's or something. It might make it a little bit easier to pronounce. But, of course, he is down 0-1 to his opponent. He's going to be spawning up here in the top right-hand corner of Shakuris Plateau as the pink Zerg. It is going to be Zeez Penguin. He is currently on a winning streak of 1 game. Let's see how far he can take that winning streak.
And immediately we already have both the Overlords being able to see each other on Shakuris, so they exactly know where they're spawning. And so far they have identical builds, which is very common in mirror matches.
Yeah, and those overlords are really just not as friendly as other overlords are. Sometimes you end up seeing, especially in the cross spawn positions, that the overlords will actually just, you know, hug each other or kiss each other, as some like to say. But those overlords maintaining that distance, it's kind of like how when you're walking down this like sidewalk at like 4 in the morning, and then you see someone else, and then the other person like crosses to the other side of the sidewalk just because they think you look sketch, and it's just like, oh man. And then, of course, I half expected some of those overlords to be, like, turning around every so often just to make sure they weren't being followed or something.
Okay, and so now we have our first deviation. We have Penguin. He went for the gas spawning pool opening, 14-14. So he's going to be looking to put on some really early aggression compared to TT, who went hatch first in this matchup.
Yeah, now that's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, I mean, it should be pretty obvious to say that going for hatch first is definitely going to be the more economic route. But I mean, how does a hatch first opening defend against the spawning pool first opening?
Well, in my experience, you should be able to hold off fairly easily. We probably will see banelings coming up very quickly. And that's going to be where a lot of this micro and kind of footsie battle is going to be going on, and that will go on until Penguin is able to even get down his hatchery. He's not necessarily looking to win the game immediately, he's just looking to delay this very fast hatchery from mining effectively and hopefully picking off a lot of drones with good baneling hits.
Yeah, and I guess one important note is that both these players, because it is a Zerg versus Zerg, know exactly what their opponent is doing for the most part. Realize that, hey, my opponent, or I guess Zelma realizes that Penguin is just now taking his expansion. Meanwhile, Penguin very much aware that Zelma's expansion is kind of pretty much finished up already.
And Penguin has done something very interesting. A little after he got his 100 gas, he took one of his drones off of gas, so he still has only 2 drones on gas currently, and took a second, so he doesn't appear to have this early aggression play. But TT is already throwing down some spines just in case. And I see an evolution champ. Oh, is he doing a... I've seen this before. It's actually a roach opener in which you get a really fast +1 for your roaches, and then you do your push. It can be very effective. So let's see if he does exactly that, or if he is going to do more kind of a Zergling baneling play.
Yeah, and one really interesting note about Penguin's play is that he has a couple of Zerglings positioned over at the ramp just to block any other opponent Zerglings from getting in and getting a good scout off. And it's kind of interesting considering he went for that spawning pool first, and, you know, it really isn't using those Zerglings for early pressure.
Okay, so instead of getting any of the +1s, he's getting Carapace upgrade first and has done a major drone transfer over to his natural. While TT is setting up his baneling nest for defense, he already has a spine crawler up, and he doesn't even know he can start putting on aggression. And Penguin has 0 gas being mined right now, which is very interesting. So we're probably going to see a lot of Zerglings coming out of Penguin very soon, and actually both the Zerg players are making a lot of Zerglings right now. Unfortunately, the +1 Carapace in Zerg battles, from what I remember, doesn't really do too much. If you really want to have effective Zerglings, you need to have that +1 attack rather than defense.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one important thing to note, though, is while both these players are just pumping a lot of those units right now, we see that Zelma actually has a 10 drone lead, so I think that if he can somehow come out of all of this big aggression that we might be seeing from Penguin, just come out okay and come out without really losing too much, he's going to be in a pretty good position, I would have to say.
And TT, keep in mind, he has the ability to make banelings. So even just one bang burst is going to destroy all of these Zerglings extremely easily.
Yeah, definitely.
So even now, like, we have 44 Zerglings from Penguin to 32.
We actually see Zelma moving in with a couple of banelings and Zerglings into Penguin's natural expansion. And all the Zerglings were pulled up in Penguin's main, and oh my god, we see all the Zerglings and a huge hits off on those Zerglings, but it looks like it's actually not going to be enough. Penguin just has too much.
Yeah, he just has way too many Zerglings. TT needed way more banelings to be able to hold this off, and that +1 Carapace has kicked into action, and so Penguin is pushing back TT right now.
Yeah, Wow, that was a really interesting engagement. I'm really not sure who's going to be coming out ahead on this, as it would come down to whether or not Zelma can actually defend against this giant counterattack from Penguin.
Yes, and right now Penguin still has about 20 more Zerglings comparatively, and he's building more and more. These Baneling bursts is what's going to be really important, and none of the Banelings seem to be being targeted down.
Pretty decent hit, but it is going to, for the most part, actually, some great micro from Penguin, actually wasting some of those Banelings on only 1 or 2 Zerglings. And, oh man, I think that Penguin might not be able to press this advantage now. Oh god, actually, a huge Baneling hit right over there on that ramp. That's definitely going to stop Penguin from putting on any additional aggression for a little bit.
Now TT has over 20 Zerglings comparatively to Penguin, and is pushing back. He can make Banelings, and he has higher drone count. So the longer this game is going to go, it is heavily in TT's favor. So that +1 carapace isn't actually going to do too much now. Since TT can still be able to transition, he's been mining gas this entire time for him to work on his own upgrades, and is actually getting a third proxy hatch, or not proxy hatch, a macro hatchery to still outproduce Penguin.
Oh, we see the Banelings moving in, not really getting the hits off, but that +1 carapace upgrade definitely helping out a little bit with those Baneling hits, as we can see the self damage not instantly killing stuff, and we do see some really nice hits over there.
Yeah, and this is going to go back and forth for just a little bit longer, but the more, as time passes, Penguin, or TT is going to have a bigger lead of kind of the later game, because Penguin cannot transition. And as soon as TT even notices that Penguin has decided to make some drones, well, it's the game of drones in the ZVZ matchup, and that's when TT is going to just dominate.
Oh! Losing additional Zerglings. He just cannot afford to do it right now. He does not have any spine crawlers or anything as a defensive measure in his natural expansion. It's all Zerglings all the time. And, oh man, if he cannot fend off this aggression, he's going to be in so much trouble. A bit of a misrally, actually, from TT. Leaving a couple of those Zerglings in could have maybe turned the tide of the battle a little bit better, but we do end up seeing just that back and forth once again, and Penguin actually having the defender's advantage. That means his units will be rallied to the battle a little bit quicker, so that's definitely going to help him out a little bit. But, oh man, to what end? His drone count is still just so much lower than his opponents, and what is TT planning to do? Is he just going to continue to put on this aggression in hopes to finally break his opponent?
Yep, and that's exactly what TT should be able to do. He now has his third hatchery up. The only negative thing is he's been missing a lot of inject rounds. This is the only reason this game is still going on.
Oh man, some really nice Baneling hits. And actually that +1 carapace is definitely helping out, as we can even see. I think that those Zerglings are actually being able to survive single Baneling hits with that +1 carapace upgrade.
They'll have about 1 hit point left.
That 1 hit point, the make or break difference, because you know, a Zergling that's lost 3 of its legs, its arm, and 2 of its eyes still attacks just as hard as a Zergling with all of its appendages.
Exactly. Let me just get a quick look at this. The unit count. We have 40 Zerglings for TT and about 30 now for Penguin, and these Banelings have just destroyed even more Zerglings. TT just really needs to focus on injecting. That's the biggest criticism that I have right now, as we have 3 queens, all with over 50 energy. So that's 6 more rounds that were missed out on.
Yeah, oh my god, actually hold position going down from Penguin Zerglings, actually losing a ton of them. And it looks like they're going to be able to block the ramp for a little bit, but if TT comes in with just a couple of Banelings, as you see, he's morphing them in right now. He's going to be able to easily break into the natural expansion, and oh man, Penguin's in so much trouble, and this game is just looking worse and worse off for Penguin.
Yeah, I didn't really like him start making the Banelings by pushing up. He knew that the Zerglings were on hold position and that there was really no way that he could break that easily, and with the added DPS from that queen, it was just a little awkward. He should have waited until he had a few Banelings to easily break it. But now he's in the critical point of stopping these drones from even gathering minerals, and hopefully can kill some, and that's when TT is really going to end.
He's running Zerglings into the main.
And Queen in the natural has 10 hit points left, and in the main, and there we go. He's lost both queens. He knows that there's no way he can come back. And GG for game 2.
Wow, that was a very long and drawn out game number 2, as we ended up seeing... I actually don't think I've ever seen two Zerg players in a 1 versus 1 not make drones for that long.
Then you haven't
only
seen a lot
make
of
Zerglings, like-
Yes, that
That
happens.
was very interesting. We ended up actually seeing, even though TT got some really nice bandling hits off consistently and was just slowly, ever so slowly, inching ahead, barely. Penguin did a good job holding on and making sure he was still nailing those injects, considering he was 10 drones down, did not have banelings, was only working on speedlings, had the +1 carapace upgrade, but wow, a pretty good hold from Penguin, but TT, eventually, I think that 10 drone lead and the banelings just too much for him.
Yeah, and TT could have won that a lot earlier, except his injects were just a little off. I think if he can change that for this next game, he will just easily dominate whoever his opponent is.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see, actually, as we do end up having a 1-1 tie right now.
Yes.
And,
so do you want to throw it up to on game 2? Throw up a little Amazon?
Throw up a little Clamazon. And by the way, I really like Clamazon's little logo over here. It's so clever.
I thought it was very clever, yes.
Yeah, it looks like, oh my god, we actually might be getting game number 3 start up in just a second. It's going to be on Ohana. We're going to find out exactly who's going to be playing.
Oh no.
Oh wow. What's going on?
Really?
Okay, so by the way, in case you're wondering about Curtis's oh no, Curtis, why don't you go ahead and explain your thoughts on Ohana?
So I do not like Ohana at all. Especially as a Terran player, I think we're just a little too close to each other. So especially in a TVP matchup, when the pro drops the pylon down and then rushes over to do the harassment, if they do it right, they're there before I even have enough minerals to start my barracks, and then they just be Protoss to Terran. And very similar now with Zerg. Even though it's not common, I would really like to see a very fast drone scout just to really harass that Terran, and it can be extremely annoying and just frustrating to have almost the second building really that you build delay the rest of your entire build. Since you need that barracks to even start your factory or anything else, it's just, for me, one of the most frustrating things in this entire map pool.
Yeah, Ohana definitely has some pretty short distances between the two bases, considering that you know exactly where your opponent's going to be spawning. So it's going to be interesting to see, just because we are seeing a Zerg versus Terran once again. It's actually going to be, once again, TT, also known as Metzelma TZ. I'm going to call him Metzelma TZ. That actually sounds pretty right. Versus Zeez Steen. And Zeez Steen going to be the Terran player, of course, as players aren't really switching up the races. That's, again, a little bit crazy to do. Very impressive if you can do it, but...
Yes, only very few players, I think, prefer that. Who's the famous one? I can't even think of his name right now. It's been a while, so I apologize for that. But it is very good. We have another TVZ, so it's another one of my favorite matchups. We'll see if Sten from Team Z, Rip Zeez, will open up that very similar Hellion kind of Banshee aggression.
Yeah, I think one really difficult thing about this map, though, I find, is that unless you catch the creep tumors from being laid down right as they're like trying to leave the natural, oh my god, your Hellions just do not get there fast enough. Yes. And then the creep tumors end up spreading out so fast in every single direction, it's just too much for your Hellions to actually stop. So it's very easy for a Zerg to get creep spread on this map, I feel.
Yes. It's very annoying.
I can see Curtis is sitting there and Taylor's like, oh, this is why I don't play anymore.
Like, to me, this is Steps of War 2.0. I think it's the exact same tile set, except being bottom left versus top right.
I think it's actually a different tile set. It's a different tile set. Because this is like a desert with greenery tile set.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to Steps of War, which is like a foresty tile set.
Yeah,
I think Steps of War had the same tile set as Jungle Basin and Tal'Darim Altar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. But yeah, just thinking about things in terms of going into the late game, we oh god, I actually think I don't have the thing pulled up. I'm gonna go ahead and really quickly do some dynamic adding, because XSplit was like, hey, so do you remember all of those little things on your XSplit those little scenes on your XSplit that you wanted? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and remove all of them, just arbitrarily and randomly. Well, we can go ahead and see over here. I'm taking a look at the map right now, just because the players are dealing with some issues of their own. I know one of them has to go to the bathroom, and actually Curtis and I actually have some theories about going to the bathroom before a game versus not going to the bathroom. Curtis holds the stance that going to the bathroom is the worst option. You should hold it in if you're going to go play. You'll play better. And he says he has scientific evidence.
Clarify, yeah, there's been research on it. If you have to pee, so like if you have to do number 2, go. But usually number 1, the studies show if you hold it in, you focus a lot more. I don't know why, but I've read the article and I thought it was very interesting. But anyway, I use science, and Fear Dragon uses his own crazy philosophy.
And you know what? Your gut actually has something to do with this issue.
But enough about that. We're entering in Game 3 versus Team Clamazon and Rip Zeez.
Yes, indeed. And once again,
on one of my favorite maps.
Your absolute favorite map, Curtis. Now, why don't you go ahead and introduce who's spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner.
In the bottom right corner, in the lovely pink eyeshadow, we have the Pink Terran playing for Team Rip Zeez. We have Zeez Sten.
And his opponent spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of Ohana. We have the Orange Zerg currently on a 1-0 victory streak. We're going to have to see how much further he can bring it in this best-of-9 series. His name is Metzelma TZ, representing Team Clamazon.
Hooray! And if you do remember, in the last ZVZ game, he did open up that hatch first. So let's see if he is going to also do a very economic opener, even though it is a different race.
Yeah, oftentimes I do end up noticing that players who kind of, you can generally see trends, even across matchups, in the playstyle, the preferred playstyle of a player. So sometimes you'll see a player who might open up really economically in one matchup, like say ZVZ, and they might open up economically in other matchups as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly TT, Zelma, whatever you want to call him.
I mean, I think it's easier just to call him Zelma or TT or something else.
Whenever I call him Zelma, I keep thinking of Wilma. Like I just get a throwback to Flintstones. You know, back when you're like 10 years old, you're watching the Flintstones, cuddle up in a little blanket on the couch on a Saturday morning. I guess it's a Sunday morning. On a Sunday morning-ish afternoon.
Eating your Flintstones vitamins, yes.
Eating your Flintstones vitamins. Oh my God! Remind me later on. I actually have some vitamin pills that are so good. I have. Oh my God! I have like the gummy vitamin pills and. Oh, it's like you're only allowed to eat 2 of them, but you want to eat like 6 of them. Oh my God!
And with that, we do have a hatch first opening, and the spawning pool has just been thrown down for TT, and Sten has just built his barracks and is now getting some scouting information. And it looks like we are going to have a very fast command center on 16. So Rack's command center, very standard. He actually missed the micro a little bit, but that's okay.
But in the meanwhile, we also see that SCV from Steam coming into the natural expansion. Going to go ahead and scout out what exactly Zelma is up to. And yeah, this isn't going to be too surprised by anything that goes on. Now, one kind of interesting thing that I've noticed in, I guess not really even that lately, but Terrans used to love to do little bits of marine pressure on the Zerg just to delay that natural expansion. Throw down a bunker or 2, trying to do some of that quote-unquote free damage. Now, why exactly did that get phased out? Is it because...
First, there's a couple reasons for it. The first reason is the bunker has been nerfed 5 times, something like that. That's reason number 1. And now, more recently, the maps have been getting larger and larger, and Marines don't have the fastest movement speed, so unless it's proxied, it's really not worth it. And then finally, the most recent one is Queens now had this range advantage. And so before Queens had a range of 3 or 4, something very short. And so it was very hard for Queens to do really any zoning of this marine pressure, which would make it very difficult. to hold any of that off. But I think the biggest indicator really is that the maps have been growing so much larger that Zerg is much more comfortable of getting this fast expansion and feeling fairly safe.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Now, one kind of interesting note is that it looks like TST was a little bit slow in getting that Zergling speed. Actually waited until he had 150 gas before he started researching it. I don't think that's going to come into play too much, but if the Terran player does decide to do anything kind of annoying, especially with those Hellions that are likely going to be coming out, delaying that Zergling speed could actually affect his play a little bit, just in the fact that he's going to have a harder time knocking and picking off those Zerglings, or sorry, those Hellions, if they decide to go for some kind of run-in.
Yeah. And it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, we do have a very fast third, which I enjoy in this matchup. On this map, it's a little difficult because TT has to break down these destructible rocks, so it's really hard to defend the third in this position. But we are seeing just the third queen out. I really want to see 6 queens. That I always feel is the right number. I mean, you need at least 4 in my opinion, but 6 I feel just the best of holding off any of the shenanigans.
Yeah, and we actually do see that with only those 3 queens, it might have a little bit of trouble if those Hellions decide to run in, but now we see a couple of those Zerglings actually with speed already finished, so they are going to feel quite comfortable holding off these Hellions, I would say, for at least a little bit, unless Steen continues to pile these up.
And then back at Steam's home, he is getting cloaked for his Banshees, and his first Banshee is about halfway done. He's missing a few SCV rounds.
Oh my god, the Hellions are running straight into the natural. They're going to be able to roast a lot of these Zerglings, but they're also behind the middle line. They're so low on health though, and it looks like they're finally going to get trapped. And all of them get taken out with guess how many worker kills?
Exactly 1.
Exactly 1, and that was actually a scouting drone earlier on, so not the most cost-effective Hellions. They did end up killing a couple of those Zerglings, so, you know, kind of nice, but we can see a huge number of Zerglings still around. Actually, you can be able to seize map control a little bit and go after these remaining 2 Hellions.
So right now, as long as TT can hold off this Banshee harassment that's about to come, the Banshee is just entering the main right now, if you can see that at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And it looks like it's going to start target firing down that Queen. The Queen getting a couple of those first shots off, though. And now with the cloak going down, oh no, no Spore Crawlers. And it looks like this might actually cause a couple of problems. The layer is completed, so the Overseer is morphing in, but the Queen goes down. And where are those Hellions that we end up seeing? The Hellions moving around. Looks like they might actually go over to the third at the same time. Wow, oh my god, this Banshee is not being dealt with. There are Spore Crawlers going down, but it is getting so many kills. And in the meanwhile, the Hellions moving over to the third, actually getting a massive number of kills on a couple of those Zerglings. The Zerglings trying to clean them up, but those Hellions are finally going to get away. And now, finally, the Banshee goes down with how many kills? An obscene number, 13.
Yes,
I guess 12 kills.
It's a very cost-effective Banshee. This second Banshee shouldn't do as much damage as the first one, as spores are already out there. But this is another reason why I said you need at least 4 queens, because having these additional queens, they're able to drop Trig Tumors to run in between the main and the natural, and to be extra anti-air defense versus these Banshees, as now the second Banshee finally goes down.
And we actually see a third Banshee coming out as well, and of course, those Hellions, actually one of those Hellions even sitting at 8 kills, 1 kill, and 2 kills. So, I would have to say, even though he ended up losing all of those initial 4 Hellions very, very cost ineffectively, I think he's definitely made up for it with all of this giant harassment he's been doing.
Yeah, and it's mainly the Banshees. The Hellions do have some kind of small victory in it, but that Banshee was kind of team leader right now. We do have +1s going down for Steam, working on his bio, so it looks like he is going to do a transition of tanks and bio, and a total of 6 barracks will be up and running to pump out both Marine, looks like he's focusing mainly on Marines, and a reactor to pump out medevacs. Some of these Zerglings now in the middle of the map take out these Hellions guarding the watchtower.
Hellions
and so TT
is actually burning down some of those trees, the poor trees.
And TT is again missing a few inject rounds, but he's getting already his high. This is an extremely fast high. And he has also started Pathogen Gland, so he will be fairly prepared for this heavy Marine composition as long as he can outzone these tanks.
Yeah, and actually, it's such a fast high. He hasn't actually even fully saturated his third yet, so I'm not sure he's going to have all of the minerals and gas and basically the economy to actually produce any of those high-tech units, either Brood Lords or Ultralists. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Brood Lords because, to my understanding, I believe it was the words of Stefano, or no, it was the words of Destiny. I get Ultralists when I have an advantage and I want to lose it.
Yep. And he actually, TT did have enough drones, but they were all in his main, and he just finished transferring them to his third. So now he has fairly good saturation on all his bases, and these destructible rocks are about to fall down.
And we do end up seeing the +1 Carapace upgrade, finishing up for all of those Zergy units. And that creep spread finally started to make its way across the map as all of those Hellions were finally taken out. Actually, the Zerglings coming into the third of Steam. We're going to have to see how much damage they do. Looks like they're going to be going straight after the Marines, but realizing they're not going to be able to do too much, and actually ends up losing quite a few of those Zerglings.
Yeah, lost a little over half of them and dealt 0 damage to this tank or any Marine forces. So that was a very expensive poke, which is the reason you should always send in about 1 Zergling or like a couple first to just kind of get a sense of how many units are here and if you can actually get that information down.
Yeah, and actually one really interesting note is that there is still a Banshee. Steam's third Banshee is still sitting between the main and the natural of TT's base. It's just been chilling there for about 5 minutes.
He's been getting a lot of good scouting information. He's just waiting for his opening.
He doesn't quite see exactly what's at the ramp, but he's getting a good idea of exactly what these trees are doing. You know, have you ever heard the term watching grass grow? Without Banshee is taking that literally to heart.
Yes, and now we do have the force from Steam moving very slowly. We have 4 tanks and quite a lot of Marines. He hasn't started his +2 upgrades yet because he forgot his armory for a while, but hopefully he'll have it very soon. And we have to watch out because
the fungal growth, it's so good. There's the chain and all of those Marines so close to pop. Oh my god, there is the pop finally as the last fungal growth gets put down. And oh man, that's painful for Steam. That's definitely going to weaken this push, but oh my god, TT looks like he's gonna
that Banshee comes out of nowhere.
Oh man, the Banshee manages to get 1 kill, swaps at the creep tower, and then goes back to where he was. Oh man, god. That Banshee is like the most patient Banshee in the world. You heard of Thorzane spoon tearing, pushing very slowly and methodically? That Banshee is... Wait, where'd the Banshee go? Did the Banshee die?
No, no, I just heard him attack. I hear him... Oh, he's at the 4th.
Oh, he's over at the 4th. There he is. He finally sees his opening, goes to the 4th.
How about there's an attack? Oh my god. Now tanks are out of position and huge bundles on the entire Bioforce. This is going to go down and it's going to be big trouble as 4 Ultralists are about to pop out right now.
Oh man, and it looks like the Zerglings swarming and going to kill up a lot of the remaining forces for Steam, but those Infestors also doing a massive amount of damage with those fungal growths. Unfortunately, there are no more Zerglings, so they actually could get picked off. He has to be so careful. He does not want to be losing things like Infestors at this point in the game.
Yeah, he just needs to retreat with those Infestors right now. Throwing down this Infested Terran was actually a terrible idea, since they get cleaned up so fast from the high DPS units of Marines, so they didn't even be able to get popped. Steam is just stockpiling minerals right now, over 1,500 and 900 gas. I mean, he just needs to start building things.
We actually see Ultralists out from TT, and in the meanwhile, we actually see the 4th go down to that single Banshee wailing away at it for about 4 minutes. Oh my god, that Banshee is a complete nerd baller. It's like he's cloaked even when he's not cloaked.
Exactly. I think TT forgot that Banshees were even in this game. He's just confused, and now we're up to, it looks like 9 Ultralists on the field. A very interesting transition. What would be really awesome is if in a little bit he started getting his Spire and transition to Broodlords. That would be just really shocking, because the amount of Marauders and tanks that are being produced, you start sending in just even 4 Broodlords. But here we have the engagement. The Ultralists have started to rip in, and these Zerglings have just streaming past and taking out the Marauders and tanks. It looks like TT is going to be able to break down this front, but more Marauders are coming in from the natural, just taking out these Ultralists and hiding behind these tanks. But I don't know if this is going to be enough forces. A little kiting is going on. These tanks aren't even in siege mode, they're just in tank mode, and they're able to scare away. There is about a 1-to-1 ratio of medevacs to bio units right now, as TT needs to re-rally these Ultralists or they're going to die. There we go.
Oh yeah. You know, honestly, I have to say that I think toward the end, Steen really started to get a foothold back over on
oh, bad rally. all these Zerglings were just rushing into this Bioforce, which is now at 2-2, and these tanks just have +1 to their attack, and we started +3 on the weapons upgrade, while Zerg has just finished +3 for melee and hasn't started either his ranged or his level 3 carapace. But his Ultralists have +4 armor because of their awesome uniqueness.
Wait a second. It looks like actually an interesting decision. TT going for a lair over
Oh my god.
expansion.
Remember that Banshee? He just took out another base all by himself.
Oh my god, the most baller Banshee in the world, Curtis. The whole world.
The whole world of Ohana. Oh god, I hate this map so
Still is not taking any damage.
Oh, no, we have Ultralists pushing into the main Bioforce army. The tanks aren't even siege. These Marauders are just going to rip in. I don't know why TT just decided to throw this army away without any infestors or anything. If he rushed in there with those Ultralists and pushed with infestors to fungal all those bio, he could have cleaned it up very easily, as I don't think Steam even realized that he killed such a large force. And now is slowly pushing across the map. He has about a 60 supply lead and way more money, as he's just been denying this Zerg player from getting a 4th completely. And that one Banshee is still sitting there close that entire duration.
Yeah, oh my god, I think that this is going to be the make or break push from Steen. If he can just go ahead and deny this 4th, he's going to be in such a good position. Actually, we even see 3 infestors from TT that have been completely unused for most of the game. Just sitting there, I remember them sitting there even earlier, one that Banshee was sniping off the 4th over there. So, oh man, that
was risky. Why did you unburrow those infestors? Oh! A huge fungal going down!
And actually some infested Terrans being lobbed over on those siege tanks from the hidden infestors. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough though. No, it looks like Steam continues to push forward and the meta account is just out of control right now. I don't think that these fungals are even going to be able to do enough damage considering how many Venovacs there are.
And then back in right by the 3rd base, we have more and more bio just getting ready to not even coming into play, but as soon as this first Bioforce is held off by these infestors, it's going to be round 2 as the action does not stop in this TVZ matchup.
Yes, indeed. We see Zerglings coming in, starting to try and clean up that Bioforce. They finally do get it, but one thing I have to say though, this entire game is that what has been really target firing down any of those medevacs outside of the occasional fungals that almost seem like they're kind of accidentally landed on those medevacs. The medevac count has gotten so high now that really, even with the fungal growth going down, there are enough medevacs to heal most of the units that are actually even getting fungal growth. So none of them actually end up dying in the amount of fungals that you'd expect.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised maybe Steam is just worrying about too many other things, but he did not get his +3 armor upgrade yet with his bio. TT hasn't even started his +3 armor upgrade, but I mean, Sten is up to about 80 supply, and this one Banshee, yep, and this one Banshee's picking up more drones. Oh no, this is
the infestor! Oh my god, I think he's gonna pick off the infestor.
Oh, he got the fungal!
Oh my god, he picks off the infestor still.
And he just with all that action, 3 infestors are going to push in by this planetary fortress as the main bio army is pushing straightly in the middle of this map. A few Zerglings
so
took
much
out
economic
some
damage.
Deals, but I don't think it's going to be enough economic damage, as this planetary fortress is going to be able to take out a large majority of these infested Terran. And now the main Bioforce is pushing into the 3rd of TT, and it looks like there's 0 units other than a Spore Crawler, which does have 1 kill, which killed a medevac, but it's not going to be enough.
Attack over at the 3rd expansion of Steam. It looks like TT just going to go ahead and try and do as much damage as possible economically, and maybe eventually be able to come back into this game somehow by using those fungal growths on that Terran Bio Ball, but I'm not sure if it's going to work out for him.
No, right now Steam isn't even looking at his main force. He just took out the 3rd and the natural and is just wiping out Larva, as he says, no, I do not want you to have a prosperous future.
Indeed, and I don't think that this Zergling account over here as the counterattack for TT is going to be enough. They're definitely going to be able to get on top of the production. It's going to help out a lot, but it's just he doesn't have an answer to this giant Bioforce. I mean, he's going to be losing his main, he's going to be losing every single bit of his tech structures. And what does he have? He has a couple larvae over at his old 3rd. He doesn't even have a drone out on the map, I don't believe. He has a couple of drones over here.
Zerglings are trying to take out the planetary fortress, which is never a really good idea. They took out a lot of SCVs, but it wasn't enough. These infested Terran are actually doing most of the breadth of the damage. but these Zerglings are just running back and forth, but now there's a big enough force of tanks, Marines, Marauders in the third to try to clean this up as this massive force just
There's
is
the
gonna
GG.
go home and enjoy the victory.
Indeed. So wow, that was a really that was a pretty interesting game. And one thing I do have to say really quickly before I leave the game is this Banshee was a total badass.
He's still alive with 12 kills.
Still alive with 19 kills. 19 kills.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive Banshee right there.
And he didn't even have upgrades, man. I mean, hey, if I were that Banshee, I would be like, hey, I need a promotion. I need some upgrades, man.
He's just sitting in his cubicle, keeps putting in that IT request. He's like, can I really get this, please?
Come on,
and it's
man.
just like,
I've done so much for this company now.
He's like, maybe if I take out this fourth, I'll finally get that promotion. No.
No. I'm sorry, sir. We just don't have the funds to really add anything to your department right now. It's like, but I just want a +1 armor upgrade.
You gave the bunkers a +6. Like, what are you doing? Why can't I get that?
Oh my god. Actually, yeah, just speaking of upgrades, toward the end, actually, I have to say, even the upgrades, I'm not sure if the Zerg player ever ended up getting the +3 Carapace upgrades, but I know the Terran Ball was sitting on those +3/+3 upgrades on all the Marine Marauder, and even the Siege Tank sitting on, what, +2, +0?
I think that got to 2-0, but the Bio never got to 3-3. It was at 3-2 the whole game.
Yeah, but wow, it was a pretty interesting game. That's actually going to put this back into favor of Team Rest in Peace Zeez. So we're having a very back and forth best of 9.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long day. My voice.
It's gonna be actually such a long day. Do you want to take a quick break over here, Curtis? As we do see that even the players getting a little bit tired, they're gonna go ahead and take a break as well.
Okay, as long as they're taking a water break, I think we deserve a good water break. So
we deserve the promotion. Okay.
That ticket request has finally gone through. Awesome.
Yes. Alright guys, we will be back in just a little bit. Please stay tuned. Go ahead and enjoy some nice little music from Tempo StarCraft and Ken Ashport. I'm Ravi, Fear Dragon, sorry. And you are?
Curtis. I'm Curtis, I'm a face, and I'll see you later.
See you guys in a bit. What was that?
Are we offline?
Teach me special tactics when you are done drinking. Oh, it's so exciting. I don't know what is next for me. I swear I'll find you cracking, and we gon' get that FO key.
If all of this could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with a wish, just a wish, I would wish this all came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with a wish, just a wish, to make this all come true. Whoa, 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 just a wish. Whoa, whoa. Just a wish. Just a wish.
All this that I'm hoping for, I really don't think it's a lot to ask. And cousin Cats, please come teach me to do that ultra let's drop harass. My creep would spread automatically, and never shock, he would never be mad at me. I wouldn't need micro when there wouldn't be any D's or the snipers when the ladder rate. Go, go, y'all. Every Terran that I played wouldn't call any mules, and the base would have no walls. And Colossi are so tall, make them just fall over when hit by a roach ball. There would be no cheese in my league. StarCraft would be on TV. Trust me, believing is key. Oh, and Slasher would be even mobile.
All this could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with a wish, just a wish, I would wish this all came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with a wish, just a wish, to make this all come true. If all of this could happen, oh, all the things that I would do with a wish, just a wish, I would wish this all came true. I would pass on all the millions and the power to abuse with a wish, just a wish, and make this all come true.
When I'm Grandmaster, I will play faster. They'll call me Bonjour, just like my name was Flash. When I'm Grandmaster, I will play faster. They'll call me Bonjour, just like my name was Flash. But now I'm just flat, and now I'm just flat, and now I'm just flat. Oh, laced into bronze, it was so wrong. No game fights I won, so I made songs, but I stayed calm, and before long, I will be strong, just like J Dong. Now I'm in platinum, and I go at them, hoping for that one promotion. Learn from these streams, watch Gom TV, not that MC. I wish I was Korean, so we're laddering just to compete, and it's Saturday when we GG, so we patiently play and tune in today. We'll make it some way, but for now we say, when I'm Grandmaster, I will play faster. They'll call me Bonjour, just like my name was Flash. But now I'm just plat, and now I'm just plat, and now I'm just plat. Oh, so many doors right at my door. Pulled SCVs, it's a repeat.
Hey guys, we are back and the games are about to get started. Can you hear me, Curtis?
I can hear you twice because I forgot to mute the stream. Yes, we are
Awesome. What's
fully back.
better than just two of me? I mean, honestly, come on. I'm a lovable guy. My voice is amazing, so it's like, why wouldn't you want to hear two of me? I'll put you to sleep.
Especially when we're playing practice games and.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and if you ever are on Skype with this guy, am I pointing the right way? Don't believe a single thing he says. He's like, yeah, I'm in the top right. Yeah, just practice this build on me. I'm like, all right, cool. Hey, what's going on? You're not top right. What's going on?
Curtis, can we play a couple of... Oh, by the way, the game's about to get started. We do actually have a Protoss versus Terran. But yeah, I'll go ahead and say, like, hey, Curtis, can we play some games? You know, I have a new build order I want to practice. He'll be like, okay, sure. He'll go ahead and do his normal things. Like, why are you building gateways on my base? This isn't a build order. You need to practice. But anyways...
I still like the one game that you only mine 100 gas to get a warp prism, and he just dropped zealots in my main base, and I opened up banshees and just lifted off all my buildings, and all the zealots were just staring up like, what do you think about this?
I was like, wait, I'm playing against a Terran, you can lift off. But actually, speaking of Terran, we're actually going to be seeing one of the Terrans spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of Entomb Valley. He's going to be representing Team Rest in Peace Zeez. His name is Zeez Steen, and he is currently... We have seen so many 1-0 streaks. We're going to see if he can actually make this a 2-0 streak. Or if his opponent's Curtis...
And his opponent, which is the Protoss player wearing the orange eyeshadow. Let's see if he can bring it back up for Amazon. We have Zimboy. I'm pronouncing it French, in which you don't actually say that. So.
I actually like it as Zimbaus, because he becomes a bouse.
Like a bouse. That's exactly right. And I also enjoyed how I introduced the Protoss player, and you introduced the Terran player. But
switching it up.
That's right.
But anyways, we do actually have Zimbaus going to be down right now 1-2, so that means he needs to bring it back for Amazon just to tie it up. Now, of course, best of 9, that does mean, what does this best of 9 go up to, Curtis?
First to 5.
First to 5, that is correct, because we do math over here. I swear I didn't just ask that because I didn't know. Like, I actually did know.
I don't know, he's a CS major, so he doesn't draw the numbers very well.
Yeah, I just tell the computer to do it. Actually, it's really funny. You'll ask a CS major, and actually it's kind of funny because actually a lot, I don't know if you guys know this, but Team Clamazon, actually all employees at Amazon, so a lot of them being software developers, a lot of them being computer science people. So one thing that you'll notice actually is that a lot of computer science people, oh my god, actually, sorry, hold that thought, some awesome micro coming out of Steen, keeping that SCV alive. Tell me a little bit about that, keeping that SCV alive against the evil probe menace, Curtis.
Well, have you ever heard, why did the chicken cross the road? Well, in StarCraft we were saying, how many SCVs does it take to build a barracks? That's how important it is. That one single probe can be such a thorn in every single Terran's build order, but it looks like the Marine is now out and chasing him away and getting this very fast command center, which is going to be very good since the Protoss... What? What?
Wait.
Huh. Okay, he's opening up
to... an interesting opening. Now, I think what this will allow him to do is This is kind of actually a kind of opening that you'll actually end up seeing in PvP sometimes, known as like a 3 stalker rush. So I think this will allow him to do something of this sort, where basically you'll be able to get up 3 really fast stalkers before your warp gate finishes up, and you can put on a little bit of pressure with it. But kind of interesting to see this in Protoss versus Terran.
Yes, I have seen this in Protoss versus Terran and how I would have responded. We did have this one SCV kind of run around and make pretty signals. I think it's much better, especially if a Protoss is skipping that first Zealot, to throw down an eBay at his natural. Because the Stalkers have such a low DPS to buildings that it's going to be forever until that Protoss takes a main base. And that is why kind of the standard way is to always get that Zealot, since if they do that eBay shenanigans, they can easily hold it off. Because, I mean, you're Protoss, how annoying is it when I build an eBay at your natural?
That is so annoying because those Stalkers just don't do damage fast enough. You wish that they were Thors and they could just immediately one-shot every single game. But unfortunately they don't, so it takes forever to kill off that engineering bay. It delays you're forced to make the decision. Do I delay my expansion and still go for that aggression? Or do I delay my aggression and go for the kill off the engineering bay to get up that expansion?
Alright, I'm very confused by this build coming from Zimboss. Like, completely confused.
This is interesting. It looks like he's going to be going for some kind of blink stalker pressure. You know, this is kind of interesting because I know that you have played quite a few games against me, and you know that going for that kind of early blink stalker aggression in this matchup is something that I'd really enjoy doing. So, I mean, one thing that I have to say is that when you go for some kind of blink stalker aggression, one thing that you can do is you can go ahead up to this natural expansion of the Terran, you can go ahead and poke up, and then immediately, as soon as your shields are gone on the stalker, blink it back, and you just continue to poke, and you're not trying to end the game or anything, you're just trying to be as annoying as possible, pull SCVs, and do all that kind of stuff, and stop them from being able to move out. And in the meanwhile, you be as greedy as you can behind it, you grab upgrades, you go ahead and tech up, you grab all your gas geysers, you use your chrono boost on probes, and
he's not doing the blink stalker. I didn't think he would. He's doing like a Zealot Archon.
Ooh, interesting. Actually, yeah, we do see that Templar Archives going down. The Forge still actually already around, but we don't actually see much of use out of it for upgrades, just using it for that cannon. It's going to probably just be, well, it is definitely going to be a defensive cannon.
Okay, now looking back at the Terran base, we do have a missile turret that's about 99% complete. This is so if there is TT rush that usually hits around the 7, I think the earliest is 740? Or is it like a little after 8?
It's somewhere close to there, maybe around like 8 minutes. It looks like he's actually going to complete it. But I really like that play of just using that to kind of figure out, you know, hey, I can play it safe. I don't even want to waste 75 minerals if I don't need to.
So that is a good strategy, but the only thing I dislike about it is he didn't do that scouting information to see if I should use it. And we did, oh my god, we had a chrono boost on the Forge, but nothing was upgraded. So that was...
no, does he think that he's researching something there? That could actually be a terrible, terrible loss right now.
Yeah, but we are researching Storm, and we finally have now all of the gas geysers going with 3. That's finally changed. And it looks like Steam is finally taking his 3rd and 4th gas right now. But Steam seems to be very scared with DTs, even a missile turret in his main base with +1 weapons almost complete. And finally getting a starport. And Stin is about to finish with Combat Shield on the way.
Yeah, and, you know, with those finishing up and also the +1 weapons about to finish up, that's going to put him in the upgrade advantage, especially considering the +1 armor is only now starting for our Protoss opponent, I guess.
Yeah, so what will be like a common poke is we do have this reactor on the factory and the starport finish. They're going to swap, and they'll either move out when about 2 to 4 dropships or medevacs are out, and the timing will coincide directly with this combat shield also finishing. So it looks like we are going to have a +1 timing attack, and +1 armor probably will not be complete by the time he pushes out, but that's what I would do at least. But we are a supply block for a little bit, but no worries, as Zimboy is taking his 3rd right now.
This is going to be very interesting. I really think it's going to come down to how good Zimboss's storms are in this, as he has quite a few High Templar, but really not that many actual DPS and tanky units.
Yes, and Fear Dragon, Zimbalist has a gateway. Okay, now he's finally making a warp gate, but it was fully completed for a long time that he just was not working. So it seems like kind of his operations of his build is just a little off. There's just a lot of kind of wasted material or too fast of buildings. And we do have 2 proxy pylons now kind of surrounding this Terran player to spot any drops, but oh, and a probe was picked off as he saw this big, massive Marine Marauder force coming out with these medevacs.
Oh, man,
so this is going to be
scary.
Yeah, extremely scary. But we do have 1 High Templar at least. I don't know why he's all the way out in the front, unless he's going to try.
He's trying to get a flanking position so that when the entire army tries to move down or up the ramp and then tries to retreat, he can go ahead and get a storm. But there he is trying to move in. He does have the observer over there that's going to help out. But this observer actually does get sniped, and now we see that 1 High Templar coming out. This storm does go down, but the nice split coming out from Steen is going to kind of delay that push a little bit longer.
Yeah, so if I was Steam right now, all I would try to do is take out this third. I'm not even really going for the kill. But a fairly decent
engagement over here, but the storm is just not there. There is some good storms.
Oh
my god, devastating his opponent's army, but now he's starting to run low on storms. He only has 1 left, but it looks like it's not going to matter. The pickup is forced, and now Zimbal's going to be feeling to be in a very nice position as his third is up against his opponent's lack of third, and he also still has an army, Curtis, and that's kind of important in this game.
Yes, it's extremely important. He has so many High Templars right now. We're up to 7 right now, but Ghosts are now in production, so this is going to turn into a who can hit which skill shot correctly. I mean, this is starting to look like LoL or Dota.
Indeed, as that Ghost versus High Templar micro is so important. Oh my god, especially with how Zimbal's is playing. If you end up basically clumping up those High Templar just a little bit, and one thing I have to note is actually Zimbal's doing a fabulous job spreading out his High Templar, bar 1 or 2 little positionings. I think that none of these High Templar can actually get EMP'd alongside another one, so no 2 High Templars really too close together, and that's definitely going to help out in the big engagement. But you know, if he is not careful and he actually ends up getting EMP'd in a bad position, that could actually just end the game immediately.
You know, when I'm a little surprised, Steam only has his command center on his third halfway complete. This is a little late for how I would prefer it, because it's already the 14-minute mark and he doesn't have his third. That's command center should have been almost completed by the time he was doing all of his aggression, so I'm wondering if his micro slipped a little bit trying to dodge those storms.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, even one thing to note is that he kind of didn't start +2/+2 weapons and armor researching for quite a bit, as we can actually end up seeing he's still sitting on 1/1, and now it looks like with the Protoss utilizing that Chrono Boost to the fullest, actually going to be able to start catching up in that upgrade. He's going to have +1/+1, or actually +2 finished up in just a little bit, not actually going for any weapon upgrades, it looks like. That's kind of interesting.
Well, storms don't benefit from weapon upgrades, so it looks like we're just using Zealots to take up damage, and then these High Templar are just going to storm. We do have a Colossus almost completed, and we do have Charge as well for these Zealots to try to get a good kind of rush down on any Bioforces. And the Bioforces, speaking of, have just left the natural expansion.
Ooh, it looks like he actually might be moving around. We actually see what was that High Templar doing? Oh my god, there was actually a High Templar storming over at the 3rd expansion for Steam. Yep. So it looks like it did not end up getting too many kills. Yeah, it didn't really get a whole lot done, but still, nice little attempt at harassment, and at least weaken up some of those SCVs for maybe some potential future aggression, as he does still have that proxy tunnel and could warp in a couple of Zealots once he sees this giant army moving out. But just look at the supply, Curtis. 170 supply to 145 right now.
Yeah, and so very clearly we do have an army advantage for Steen, but we do have a slight economic advantage with Zimbal's getting this 4th up. So as long as Steam is being able to delay this and essentially just keep up his...
Oh, the High Templar coming out with the nice snipes on all of the High Templar and the EMPs. 0 storms going down so far, but now we do see a single storm coming out, but nicely dodged, and oh my god, actually all the Ghosts are actually left out in the open, and now that's going to allow all of these High Templar to come out and dish out all those storms. God, Curtis,
and a lot of good feedback as well. All those Ghosts got fed back and then just completely exploded. We're still waiting for this Thermal Lance upgrade, which hasn't even begun yet, unfortunately. Hopefully he didn't forget about it. But it looks like this Bioforce is going to be pushed back, but they were able to take out the 4th, which is going to be very annoying. And more Storm harassment! We have 4 kills with that single Storm now. But more barracks are on the way. We have 5 more barracks in production, which will pull our barracks count up to...
a lot.
8, 10. Up to 10.
Yeah,
even though we're not fully producing out of all of them. I mean, at this point, as soon as the Terran takes a 4th base, they need to just constantly put on pressure, make sure that Zimbalist doesn't get this 4th up, which he just threw down now. This is the only criticism that I have currently of this Terran player, is has his 3-3 going. He's getting personal cloak for his Ghost. We even have some Vikings with +1 already complete and +2 going. In these Colossus, we have up to 3 right now with 0 thermal lance, which is about 60 seconds in right now.
And actually, even now, I would really like to see the Protoss player getting some of those weapon upgrades for those Colossus. The Colossus definitely, even though the High Templar do not quite as much, Colossus definitely benefit from those +1 weapon upgrades and +2 weapon upgrades, etc., etc. One actually other thing I would like to note is I would really like to see this Terran player maybe do a little bit more pressure, considering how many medevacs he has. I think he could do some really nice drop play over at the natural expansion, over in the main. I think especially when he's trying to deny a 4th over in the kind of toward the center of the map, he can do some really nice drop plays along the right side of the map.
And the Dark Shrine has now been completed.
Oh
so
man, hold that thought. Actually, a huge storm going down on
huge.
Steen's army. Wow, that was an amazing storm. And that's actually going to stop Steen from pushing out for just a little bit. It's actually, that High Templar single-handedly pushed back Steen's army for a good 15 or so seconds.
For a second, Grubby the weatherman just popped up and said, nope, seems to be pretty stormy out.
Oh man, and now Zimbalist knows that the army is pushing out once again. He's going to have to get his units into position as they are all clumped up toward over that 3rd expansion and the natural.
And so now some DTs are just poking at these Marauders, but they have such high hit points with these medevacs that they haven't gotten a single kill yet. And the big minus thing is what you pointed out, there is 0 weapon upgrades out of this Protoss army.
Ooh, some nice storms trying to go down on some of those Vikings and those Ghosts. Kind of weaken up the Vikings a little bit. That's definitely going to be useful in the big engagement, as now Thermal Lance has completed, so we can kind of depend on those Colossus a little bit more. But losing quite a few of those High Templars, I'm really curious to see if it's going to come back to haunt Zimbalist. Although at the same time, we can see 18 High Templar out on the map.
Yeah, and this Protoss army is split out.
Oh
my god, look at those EMPs!
Those EMPs could make or break the difference in this engagement, but we still see quite a few High Templar actually getting split up.
Oh my god!
Oh man, a huge series of storms are actually going to be able to knock out all of the Vikings!
Taken out. Those Stalkers need to focus on the Vikings. What are you doing?
There's only 2 Vikings left. They just don't have damage output, and now we see just so many storms. Oh my god, it's like Zimbalist is playing some kind of map editor and he doesn't need any energy for storms. He just casts them. He's like the Storm Protoss.
The Storm Protoss. But this is where the critical point is going to come. Who can rebuild their army the fastest? And it looks like they're fairly even though the Terran player was up on the supply for so long. Those storms just ripped up that very fragile Bio army. I know the word fragile with Bio doesn't sound accurate, but they really are fairly weak units. And now we're entering actually the trouble point, because Stein is almost completely mined out of his main and his natural, so he only has 1 effective mining base and finally takes out that proxy pylon, which has been there since the beginning of the game.
Actually, yeah, just talking about mining bases, we know that Zimbalist was able to successfully get up that 4th after deflecting that push, and actually even has a 5th up at this point.
Yes,
and now we're
going to have a mothership very soon with
my God.
that just finished.
Mothership is actually one of the most, I don't want to say underutilized, but less seen units in this matchup, and not because they're bad, it's just because you have to get to such a late game situation to be able to properly use them. Once you actually do get a Vortex off on your opponent's army, it just makes it prime for Storm and those Colossus, and just getting those Archons in. Oh my god, you can do so much damage if you can get that good solid Vortex off.
Yeah, and just as a complete side note, because we have a little lull moment in this game right now, I clicked on this fleet beacon and I didn't understand what this research ion phase crystals are, and I actually read the tooltip and I completely forgot you can increase the Phoenix range by 2. I haven't seen that upgrade in so long.
Yeah, it's not really highly utilized right now. Maybe someday in Heart of the Swarm, when right just like the carrier, right before they decide to take it out, all the players will figure out exactly how to optimize usage of it, and it'll become imba. And then, of course, in Legacy of the Void, they'll take it out. And then there'll be all the complaints. We want our the Phoenix range back. Oh my god. Actually, there's a High Templar position over here to do some storms. It looks like it does land a storm down on some of those Vikings. It's not doing a huge amount of damage, but still doing some good damage. Actually, even getting a feedback off on a Ghost, that's definitely going to help out in cutting down on some of those EMPs. But one thing I have to say, Zimbaus has been doing a fantastic job every single engagement, splitting up his army.
Alright, Fear Dragon, what is the in-game timer?
26 minutes.
And we have our first +1 upgrade from the Protoss army.
Oh my god. Congratulations, Zimbaus. You now do a little bit extra damage.
Oh! Massive snipes on all those High Templar, and now the Zealots are coming in one by one. Massive EMP on all the High Templar and the Colossus there, and they're getting ripped apart. But storms are just crippling this Terran army, and they have to. The High Templar, what are you doing?
The High Templars, they're going so close in, but it doesn't look. I'm not sure if it's going to matter. There's still a couple of storms left over, and that could spell the end of this entire Terran ball, and there it goes. Amazing storms once again, and there's only 1.10.
And we're going to run directly into these photon cannons.
Oh no! And barely gets away with 3 health, but oh my god, I'm not sure if it's going to matter. There's no blink completed, so this medevac is going to safely get away as long as it doesn't decide to make a pit stop over at this little gas station. But yeah, wow, I have to say Zimbaus just cleaned up that army, and look at this. A 4th is down for Steen, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the economy that he's going to need to keep up with his 5 basing Protoss opponent.
And we finally have our first kill out.
Oh my god, actually, a Dark Templar somewhere. I just heard it.
Yeah, he was trying to poke around in the 3rd and 4th. He tried to see at the 4th and got shot by a planetary fortress, and then got clustered into a lot of Marines. But in the middle of the map, we do have our mothership and a lot of cloaked High Templar and Zealots. That is extremely scary.
Yes, indeed. Having to, it won't affect too much just because, Steen can throw down those orbital command scans on the army, but even still, like, he wants to be using some of those for mules, especially considering how low economy he's functioning on. He's basically only on 1 real mining base. Does finally have a 2nd mining base that's going to be up and operational in just a couple of seconds, so that's definitely going to help him out, but
we have 10 barracks versus. Oh god, the gateways are all over. We have just 12 gateways versus 10 barracks. So technically, if the battles keep going non-stop, Protoss have a slight advantage. And Fear Dragon, you're going to know exactly what I want to see. I want to see a warp prism.
Yes.
Warp to the main during an engagement and just start warping in Zealots to cut off all of these unit-producing structures of these barracks. And that is how Protoss is going to win this game. But talking about winning the game, this Protoss army is going to take out one of the mining bases and is going to essentially initiate a battle here.
I don't entirely agree with the position that he put himself in. He's kind of put himself over at this choke, and now there's an opportunity for some huge EMPs from these ghosts, and oh my god, every single High Templar is recall! Oh my god!
And that just happened, folks.
That was a brilliant play coming out of the Protoss player. And, really well played from the Terran player, trying to get that, basically that closing encapsulation on the Protoss ball. If he had been able to take out that army right there, he would have had a really solid chance at winning this game. But now it's going to be so difficult. But you have to remember, all those High Templar did lose their energy. There's not going to be any storms during the middle of this early engagement. Oh, now we do see a couple of dozen Marauders and Marines coming in, and it looks like no storms going down, but we do see quite a few Archons already morphed out, The Vikings are going to take out the mothership, and meanwhile, the Marine Marauder Ball is going to do a good job kiting all those zealots, being able to take out all those marauders. But look at this, a huge reinforcing wave of zealots. I think that the Protoss player is just going to be able to buy time for himself to be able to warp in additional units, and especially considering he does finally now have those weapon upgrade, has +2, +3, and now we see that Terran ball is slowly getting dwindled down, but oh my god, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. I think the Terran player just has too much. It looks like I'm actually having a couple of Skype troubles with my co-caster, but it looks like it's not going to matter, and they're actually, no! Oh god, it looks like his internet has died, and that's so unfortunate. But anyways, it looks like this game is going to be getting very, very close to finishing, as one way or the other is going to come down to whether or not Steen can actually take out Zimbaus in this situation right now. And this is so close right now. Zimbaus is just basically going to be depending on this little small bank right now of minerals and gas, try and warp units and try and deal with this giant army, as I really wish actually he had maybe pulled back some of those High Templars, used them, basically saved them for a little bit later when they would have had Storm. But still, he is going to be able to try and morph in maybe a couple of them. And one thing you have to remember is Steen just does not have much of an economy right now. He's sitting on one mining base over at that 4th, and that's pretty much going to be it. But now we do see, looks like Curtis has finally dropped out of the game, and now we see the Marines and Marauders targeting down that 4th from the Protoss player, a couple of the Zealots, and actually some High Templar. It looks like they are going to be building up a little bit of energy for that Storm, but they don't have it quite yet. The Zealots going in, doing some good damage alongside this Colossus, and the Colossus is going to be able to knock out a lot of those Marauders, and now we actually see only Marauders left over for the Terran opponent, and now we do see some feedbacks going down on those medevacs. The medevac's going to be so low on health, and not just that, but low on energy as well. And wow, it looks like the Protoss player has managed to somehow push back his opponent. But we do see Zimbaus still on that one base over here, and has ended up losing this, and considering his 3rd is about to be mined out as well, he's actually going to be in a bit of a low economy situation too, but he does actually have this expansion over here ready to start mining in the future. We're going to have to wait and see if he's going to be able to take advantage of that. Now, again, we do see Steen's army kind of moving out across the map. He has quite a few ghosts still left over. So once again, those EMPs could be so critical. He needs to land those EMPs, as his army is so... Even though it has full health right now, those medevacs are so low on health, and actually, oh my god, the cannons could actually end up taking out a couple of those medevacs. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, and now we see, oh my god, I love this positioning from Steen, forcing Zimbaus to try and move up, and now we see the snipes going down all the High Templars, and now the Colossus trying to come in, get a good position, but this ramp position is going to be so good against all of these Zealots, and now the Zealots getting taken out, and the Viking, actually, the Viking does not exist, but it doesn't matter, all the Colossus taken out, and there's the GG from Zimbaus. So it looks like Steen, despite everything, was able to somehow come back into that game, take out the expansion from Zimbaus, eventually be able to build up a large enough army, get into this critically great position over here, and use these ghosts to take out his opponent's High Templar. That was that. So now we're going to go ahead and jump back to my screen overlay. Unfortunately, we do see... I'm going to go ahead and pop something over here for just a second, as it looks like a... Since Curtis is kind of gone right now, I'm just going to go ahead and get someone, you know, who agrees with me a little bit more than Curtis does. Curtis sometimes disagree on certain topics, but you know, Old Spice Man doesn't disagree with me. Old Spice Man loves me. But anyways, we are going to be going ahead and jumping into game number 5 pretty soon, I'm sure. But go ahead and just mark it up as a win for Steen. So it looks like Steen, representing team Rest in Peace Zeez, is going to be taking the lead. He's the first player in this best of 9 series to actually take a 2-0 lead in terms of how many, and just 2-0. He's the only player right now that is currently sitting 2-0 in terms of their games played. Anyways, we should actually end up having the next game start in just a little bit, and I believe that the map is going to be... Actually, I'm not going to specify the maps because I'm not actually sure which chats I'm reading. I'm actually in a lot of chat channels right now. But anyways, what do you think, Old Spice Man? Oh, sorry. Old Spice Man. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Yes, thank you. I can always count on you. But anyways, really, really interesting game from Steen as we saw him almost lose that game, but some really miraculous play. He had such good positioning and he just played that out beautifully. Like, in terms of army positioning and in terms of the engagement, could not have asked for something better in that final engagement that was honestly just completely saved him. And yeah. It looks like... Oh, actually, Curtis is going to be back, so let's go ahead and invite him back into this. He's probably going to be a little bit upset with me that I replaced him with someone a little bit more handsome than him, but who am I kidding? Curtis is quite handsome himself.
Hello, hello.
Hey! Why don't you go ahead and turn on that video, and I will go ahead and add you back in.
Yeah, I think I got hit by EMP or something. That wasn't good.
That would make sense because we saw some ridiculous EMPs going down, and actually, I don't know if you actually saw, but Team Rest in Peace Zeez came out with the win in that game, and I actually have someone over your face right now still, just because he looks so handsome. I thought you'd look nice. I'm just kidding. He's so much more handsome than you.
I know.
Don't worry, he's more handsome than all of us. Yeah, but it looks like we're going to be getting ready. Are you in the game? Yes, you are, because you...
I am in the game.
Yes, you are. Okay, so once again, we're going to be going into game number 5. That means, yes, it's going to be a 3-1 lead for Team Rest in Peace Zeez. It's going to be up to Amazon to bring it back, considering Rest in Peace Zeez only has to win 2 more games to win the entire Best of 9 series. It's going to be a Terran versus Terran, so a new matchup. Curtis, I'm depending on you in this one, because I am pretty bad with it.
Well, it's going to be a very short game because of its TBT just generally in nature, so it'll be good.
I love sarcasm, Curtis, and I know that you never use it, so...
No.
Anyways, this is going to be on Antigua Shipyard, and... Oh, actually, Antigua Shipyard is a very interesting match, or a place for a TBT, and we're going to go into that in just a little bit, but let's go ahead, jump in and introduce the players as soon as they end up spawning.
So in the bottom left-hand corner, spawning with the pink eyeshadow Terran, we have yet again Zeez.
And
Steen?
his opponent, and he is representing a Team Rest in Peace Zeez, as his name would imply.
Yes.
Spawning up here in the top right-hand corner of Antigua Shipyard, we have the orange Terran. He's going to be representing Team Clamazon, currently down 2 games to their opponent. We're going to see if he can make the miracle comeback for his team. His name is Akayex.
Kayaks, I like that.
Now, Curtis, tell me a little bit about tank positioning on this map, because I know it really does come down to tank positioning on this map.
Yes. So if the game does decide to go that long, it's all about controlling the center tower. Since not only will you be granted vision from the Seldaga Tower in the middle, you will also be able to deny any expansions that are adjacent to this tower. And that's kind of it. Like, you'll gain a lot of pressure here, and especially if it goes to that 3 kind of 4-base game, as so many Terrans TBTs do, we're just going to see a long, drawn-out battle until one of them decides to try to do very aggressive drops, or even decides to throw in some crazy battle cruisers or banshees.
Oh yeah, battle cruisers. Oh my god, I love it when it goes super duper late game TBT, and then you end up seeing the crazy mixes of battle cruisers, ravens, Vikings, Thors, siege tanks, SCVs getting sacrificed for mules. Oh my god, actually my favorite game was in fact of like the late game TBTs was actually Boxer versus Rain, the epic hour-long game. And
oh my god.
If you have not seen that, I highly recommend you go check that out. It was from MLG Anaheim 2011.
Yes.
And it's if you hate TBT, go watch that, because that is like an amazingly slow but epic TBT.
Yep.
It's just,
and I don't mean to cut you off, but we did have a guest first from Steen, so he's going to be able to immediately make this factory. And so, to me, that would imply that he's going for a very fast Banshee play, while compared to, how were we pronouncing this, Akayex?
yeah, we can call him Akayex or AKX.
Yeah, but Yex is doing a Rax Command Center build, but he was able to scout it that the factory has begun, and he's starting that very, very PC thing of just poking the other Terran and trying to build a building. Everyone knows how good that is. We actually have a fast reactor first after this Marine. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Well, glad we have your signature of approval on Steen's build, Curtis. Now we will end up seeing, you think the swap, or are we just going to be seeing the... Are we going to see Reactor Hellions, or are we going to see Reactor Marines coming out?
Reactor Marines all the way. We're getting this one Hellion probably just for scouting information, but we're really looking to, just pump out Banshees really quick. So it's going to be one Hellion, Tech Lab, and then we're going to have the swap to get these Banshees out very quickly, and then just continual Marines to kind of hold off any weird pushes, and then we'll have a lot of Marines for us to even counter push.
Makes sense. We do actually end up seeing the factory finally going down for a Kayaks, so one Rax Command Center, getting both of those gas geysers, then throwing down that factory. So I'm really curious to see what a Kayaks is going to be going for in response.
Oh my god, no, we're not going to have the Banshees at all. We're actually going to do, I haven't seen this in TVT in a while. Hellion Marine, yep.
Ooh, this is going to be really interesting. I'm not sure if a Kayaks is going to be prepared for this, but he does get the scan off, so he knows, he sees that the starport is producing units without that tech lab, and as well as that factory, so there's only one unit that could really be coming out right now.
Yeah, and admittedly, we already have 2 Marines being sent back into the main base. We have a spawning supply depot behind that fog of war, and this starport going down, which is probably going to make a Viking immediately, but we do have a near full medevac already going across the map, and 2 Hellions that are going to go in the front. The Hellions are just going to probably run by this bunker and try to do harassment in the main, but that's going to be after these Marines are already dropped out into the natural. And we can already see, oh, yep.
Oh, there's the unload, and it looks like the 2 Marines are going to be a little bit prepared, trying to do a little bit of damage, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. There are just too many Marines, and I think that the elevator up with the Hellions is going to actually be very, very troublesome for a Kayak. He does have 1 Hellion, or sorry, 2 Hellions on his own, but it's not going to be enough right now.
So we have 4 Hellions versus 2 and 8 Marines versus 7 plus a medevac. So Steen is in a very serious situation. We have the SCV pull and line him up!
Oh, line him up! Oh my god, all of these SCVs going to go down. Not even attacking, actually, just dying immediately. Yep. And oh man, that's going to be...
I just want to go back. Remember how this game was even starting? I said this is going to be a very short game? Yeah. Well, welcome to TVT. This is probably going to end very shortly.
Wow, we can actually see 20 workers killed by
and we have the medevac taking some damage from this Viking, and just retreating a little bit now, and these Marines taking out...
Marines are going to take out the Viking as well, as the Viking is just in hold position. There is a Hellion doing a lot of damage to those Marines, but I honestly don't know if a Kayaks is going to be able to come back in this game. He's already down 12 workers, and this early on, that's going to be so detrimental, especially considering he just doesn't have any units left over either. He has now 1 Marine, 1 Hellion, and 1 Viking. And even though Protoss players like to complain about the 1-1-1 build, this is not the 1-1 build that people are thinking about. And yeah, actually we even see a couple of additional Marines from Steen coming out across the map. They're going to do a bit of additional damage.
And this bunker is just going to do absolutely nothing to this Hellion. This Hellion shouldn't even be attacking that. So that's fine.
Yeah.
And we're just going to have a really quick game of tag.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see what a Kayaks is starting to plan. Maybe he's thinking about he has some kind of ace up his sleeve. At least, you know, I know that Protoss players always think 1 behind Dark Shrine. I'm really curious to see what a Kayaks is thinking right now, as we do see him trying to build a tech lab over on that factory. I'm really curious to see if he's just going to try and turtle up with Siege Shanks, maybe try and say, hey, if my macro is just that much better than my opponent, I can make it come back in this game, or if he's going to be doing something like Cloak Banshees or what.
And speaking about macro, oh, he just finally dropped a mule, but that energy count was up to 75, so he was getting a little stressed out about that. A little supply blockage by Steen, and if he continues this is actually going to cause him to lose his massive lead in which he's gained.
Yeah, it's 28 to 33 SCV, so like that gap is actually being narrowed quite quickly. as
yes.
we do end up seeing both these players producing 2 SCVs at a time now, so it's going to be a while before Akax can actually narrow the gap, but still, he's actually starting to make a little bit of a comeback in this game.
Yeah, and probably Steam is waiting for his stim to be researched, and then he's going to push in with stimmed medevacs and his siege tanks, but we do have a drop that's being moved out now up at the 12 o'clock position. That's going to be a major thorn in Steam's side.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what he needs to do. He needs to try and do something. He can't just sit idly back and hope that he can somehow win, as you know, he knows that his opponent has a much larger army than him now, as he has to do some kind of damage, and I think this is exactly what he needs to do. Now, we do see the medevac coming in, and now when does Steen realize that he sees the medevac? The SCVs are going to be under fire now from the Hellions. They are lining up, though. Oh, he can do a lot of damage, but no, does not end up doing it. And, wow. You know, even though he did not end up doing as much damage as maybe he needed to or would have liked to, I think I really agree with that decision. Akax playing that out beautifully. Make sure he didn't take really any damage on anything. And he really can't at this point. He cannot afford to lose those units.
And we already have missile turret rings going down that would imply that he's getting ready to be very aggressive as soon as he's come up, and that'll essentially shut down a lot of this drop opportunity.
Now, we actually do see +1 weapons down on those Marines, so that's definitely going to be very helpful for Steen. But in the meanwhile, we actually end up seeing just +0 down for Akax, so he's going to be a bit far behind. Only just now going to be have combat shields about halfway complete, and oh my god!
And Stim has just finished, and as I said, he was waiting for Stim to finish and move out with those siege tanks to start doing his massive kind of very big poke. So he just has to make sure he doesn't stim and run directly into these siege tanks, because that is no bueno.
No bueno is very much indeed what the situation is, but he does have a couple of siege tanks on the high ground. It looks like he's positioning them very close to the edge. I'm not actually sure how to agree with that. Oh my god! Oh my god, Curtis. What is no bueno again? What is no bueno? Oh my god, but actually there is going to be a medevac drop into the main. That actually could still end up doing a lot of damage, as even though that Viking does get that medevac very low in health, he's going to be able to do a very good job.
In the main from this missile turret, but these Marines are still going to be able to do some damage. But these even just combat shields are going to be able to clean this up.
Oh man, and actually now the production under siege and under fire, that could not be a good sign for Akax. That's definitely, he needs that production. It's even going to cancel Stim if he does not repair that barracks. Now we do actually see the medevac trying to go into the main of Steen, and only one Hellion gets out thanks to those missile turrets, and he's going to be able to do some good damage and eventually roast away at some of those SCVs, but no, the Marines say no.
We already lost one barracks so far in the main. We're trying to repair the other one, and it's going to be a very close kind of... No, it should stay alive for that Stim, but he's losing constant minerals.
He's starting to slowly lose that health on the barracks. I think he needs to grab another SCV to repair, but I don't think there's even surface area to do it.
No, they'll walk in the range of the tanks.
Now, one thing that we do have to know is there is a Viking popping out for Akax, so now he can start to engage this opponent Viking, and if he can take that out, he will be able to shut down a little bit of the high ground vision. Now, there is still one single Marine left on the high ground in Akax's main. Ooh, but a couple of additional siege tanks getting taken out from Akax. Oh man, Steen just has such a good position over here, and this is exactly what we were talking about. The siege tank positioning toward the late game can be so deadly, especially when you start sieging up over right next to your opponent's main expansion. Sorry, not main expansion, your opponent's main base.
Yes.
We do see Steen actually push back just a little bit. Does not want to end up losing too much, as he was using quite a few scans over there just to try and deal with his opponent.
And Steen right now is at 1-1, while his opponent is just at 1-0 right now for his bio forces. And we are going to actually have I cannot say his name. Yes, finally moving out. And it looks like he's being able to take out some really good position. Oh,
Steen is getting the better end of this for sure, yep. Curtis.
Yeah, Steen took out a major force that Ekovics just tried to move out with, and it just was not cost effective at all.
Oh man, you know, I feel like Steen just has such a great contain over here. He can make sure that his opponent does not really safely or easily be able to get that third, and as long as he has his own third, just kind of just chill at this point.
Yeah, and just looking at the SCVs, Steen is actually down on SCVs comparatively, even though he has more bases. But what does he have? Mules.
Indeed, and you know, what does it matter if you have a much higher SCV count if your expansions are running dry? I mean, those SCVs are going to count for very little once these bases start getting oversaturated due to the fact that there just aren't any minerals to mine. It doesn't matter how many SCVs you have, Curtis, if you don't have anything to mine.
And that's when you start going completely mech or sky Terran and bring all your SCVs just to repair your army.
Of course, and actually now a nice little snipe from Akayax, wasting a couple, or not wasting, but using a couple of Marines, take out a forward place siege tank, and a nice little play over there. And that is going to actually force Steen back up just a little bit. He doesn't want to end up losing too many units, as it'd be very sad if he ended up giving away his lead in this game, but...
Yes, and Steen even just scanned Akovex's third just to make sure that he did not have a third up yet, and then he pulled back. But it looks like we're going to have a Duke drop.
Oh man, I actually love this. He's only loaded up Marines in there, so I think that he's actually going to bring up his siege tanks over to the edge. No, it doesn't actually look like it. Just going to go ahead and drop all those Marines into the main, and he will be able to easily take out that missile turret to easily be able to deal with any kind of damage to his medevacts. But now he's actually going to end up losing almost all his
Oh my
siege
god,
tanks
he's not
in
paying
the
attention to
main,
these
or in the
Marines.
middle. Oh my god,
And in the
all
middle.
these Marines are going down. Oh my god.
This was a great idea with horrible execution, and I feel so bad for Steen right now, and he has lost his contain, and he has lost the great position that he was in. Oh man.
Oh my
but
god,
these
the game
Marines
is
are
not over
actually
yet.
still alive.
Yeah, there are still quite a few. There's still actually 5 Marines exactly. There are more medevacs than there are Marines, and they are going to be able to do a lot of damage to Akayax's spawning units, but slowly but surely, I think Akayax is going to force him out. And now, additionally, with this siege tank count, you have to remember, over in the middle, during all of that, Steen ended up losing all of his siege tanks. Now we see the siege tank count reset, now just a second one spawning, as opposed to Akayax, who now still has 3, is still mining off of those 2 bases, and finally actually has that third up. So I think that was actually exactly what Akayax needed to try and come back into this game.
Yep, and now we are going to enter into the 6-base mode, in which nothing's going to happen for the next 20 minutes.
Oh, Curtis, you're so silly. I love your sarcasm. No, but we do end up seeing actually Akayax moving out across the map, and I do like this just because he knows that his army should be at least a little bit bigger, so he can get a nice little positioning over in the center. And actually, he's going to go ahead and take a very quick fourth. And this is going to be an interesting play. He is going to control the center, as you were saying much earlier on in the entire game. Controlling the center in the late game TVT is so important. And if you can control the center, you get the expansions. If you don't control the center, you get nada.
Oh, nada. Why'd you have to say that?
I'm sorry. I know you love nada, but he's retired, man. You got to grow up.
He's retired.
Oh, I got it. A complete circumvention of the army from Steen. So Steen moving all the way around, maybe hoping to get some good positioning. But I think this could actually end up working against him if he is not careful.
It's all about that engagement, but Steen is up on upgrades. He's 2-2 versus 1-1, and he also has +2 damage on his tanks, while Akovex has 0-0 tanks. So if there is an engagement, his tanks do have the superiority.
Ooh, and we do see a couple of tank fires going on. Oh, the Marines! They're taking so much damage, and now we do see Akayax's Marines getting complete cornered. They're going to be taking so much damage from the opponent's Marines, and now we do see a bit of a standoff, but I think Steen is definitely leading in that Marine count. If he could actually load up once again and go into the main, oh my god, this is so painful to watch once again.
Just one medevac, but it is in range of this missile turret, but 5 Marines are able to get dropped down, but they'll get cleaned up very easy. And now Steen's forces are actually stuck in this bottom right section, as Akovex is just sacrificing tanks.
No! Oh no, that was actually really, really terrible for Akayax.
And he has lost control of the center.
Oh no, you know what that's going to mean? His 4th expansion is going to be under fire very, very soon. He's going to be in a very, very precarious situation. We do see a lot of siege tanks still set up. He has a lot of depth in the siege tank line, but none of them are really protecting his 4th anymore, as the siege tanks of Steen are just going to rain down on this 4th expansion.
And we have a completely mined out main in Akovex, and all those SCVs are just sitting there just kind of having a little coffee meeting.
Yes, in fact, they are just not getting paid quite enough. The Orange Terran Army just doesn't have the economy anymore, especially with this 4th under fire, to really pay off those SCVs, and hey, they're going to go on strike pretty soon. Yep, there's the strike. They're going straight to strike in the center.
Oh, a lot of SCVs going to repair this.
Unfortunately, that is going to mean that all those SCVs are going to be taking splash damage from the siege tanks. He's just going to end up losing all these. I mean, I'm not sure how much I agree with this. He's going to repair that command center for certain, but I mean, if you don't have any SCVs to mine in it, what does it matter?
Yeah, he's actually been using way too much minerals just to keep this alive, but it's going to fall as you are about to see. It was very not cost effective to try to do that.
What I really would have liked to see at Kayaks, if he was kind of quote-unquote giving up in that position and saying to hell with it, I would have loved to see him use those SCVs just as a buffer to try and deal some damage to the tanks from the car. But we do see a Kayaks moving in with his Marines. It looks like it's not going to work out though, as all the Marines are pretty much getting cleaned up.
Nope.
Now Steen's Marines are coming in, and oh my god, Curtis, I think he's going to cause it. GG comes out from a Kayaks, and now rest in peace Zeez leading 4-1.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. That was a complete snarf moment of just like, well, I'm a little behind. There's tanks up there. I guess I'll just charge up and see what happens.
Well, I think he was actually very far behind, losing that 4th expansion. I'm not sure what else he really could have done outside of maybe just pulling all of his SCVs and seeing if he could just kill off his opponent's army. But, you know, it ended up not really working.
Before that moment, he was able to get control of the center, but then just...
Yeah.
One bad engagement in TVT is all you need, really, to get back, or fall back behind.
Yeah, it was very interesting because he did get control of the center, but I still feel like at the same time, he had to reposition his army a lot because Steen was doing that really nice play where he was moving around Kayaks' entire army, doing those drop plays into the main. He had to do something to deal with it, but I think, yeah, you're right. He just got a little bit over-aggressive, moved his siege tanks just a little bit too far without his Marine backup, and just ended up losing too much, and then he lost control of the center. So, once again, 4-1. Clamazon looking to be in a very grim position. So, it looks like we're going to have to see who Clamazon is going to put out. And, you know, I actually would be expecting to see their ace player coming out or something of the sort, as they basically need an all-kill at this point, folks. As if...
A reverse all-kill.
Yeah, a reverse all-kill. If Team Rest in Peace Zeez gets... Well, I guess it's not really an all-kill because...
Yeah,
Clamazon does have one win, but the fact is, this is a best of 9, and in GSTL, it's always a best of... I think it was a best of 7, right? No, it's actually a best of 9 in GSTL.
I think they changed it to best of 9. It used to be best of 7, but because the roster kept growing so much that they made it a best of 9.
That makes sense. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to see a really strong Clamazon player come out to be able to win 4 games in a row, and I'm sure you can testify to this, and anyone that's played in a tournament or something of the sort can probably testify to this. It's very difficult to win, to have that pressure of saying, I need to win every single one of the next 4 games, or we just lose. And it's not just you on the line. It's your entire team. Your team is depending on you. So it can be very stressful, and hopefully that does not actually get to the mind of whoever the Clamazon player that does get put out is.
Yeah, and hopefully he is a very seasoned veteran of being able to be put in this position not frequently, but is put in this position. That's why there are these ace players, that they're not really affected by the morale of all the teams or all the games previous that they played on that day, and so they come very strong-minded and just try to win it for them.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one thing that we did to note, we kind of talked a little bit about Clamazon's perspective on everything, but for the perspective of Team Rest in Peace Zeez, they're going to feel pretty good about themselves right now. There's going to be a real good morale boost. They're up 4-1. They only have to win 1 more game. They have 4 games where they can just cheese for 3 of them and hope to get lucky. And if the Clamazon player doesn't react perfectly to every single one of those, they just win. Okay? So, I mean, what would you like to see out of Rest in Peace Zeez?
Proxy 2 Rex.
Proxy 2 Rex.
It doesn't even matter the race matchup, just Proxy 2 Rex.
Well, I'm a Protoss player, but I'm going to go Terran this game. Marines Imba, right? Yeah, no, but I completely agree. It's exactly what we were saying. Going for that cheese, and actually, we're going to see the map is going to be Cloud Kingdom, and we're going to end up seeing who exactly is going to be playing for Team Clamazon. The slot is currently empty. Who's it going to be? It's the epic moment. Cicero! Oh my god, so we actually have the team... Cicero. The team captain for Team Clamazon is going to be coming out, and currently set to Terrence. We might be taking your advice, as he is a Protoss player, actually. But, hopefully he doesn't decide to do that. I would not recommend it. I think... I'll be honest, guys.
You guys bad ideas? Is that it?
We were kind of joking. Cicero, please, we were joking. Don't do it. But no, he is a Protoss player, so we probably are going to be... Hold on, I'm actually going to double check this so that we don't have to start the game.
There's a little confusion to make sure that...
We're confirming... Okay. Okay, caster's ready. Cicero's like, you didn't see nothing. So, Cicero, we're not going to be playing Terran. We're going to be seeing a Protoss versus Terran matchup, though. And this is our favorite matchup. Curtis, this is our favorite matchup.
I know. It's happening. It's finally happening. Hold my hand.
Now, one thing I will actually note is, I have seen... so, one thing a little bit about myself. I actually used to intern at Amazon just last summer, so I got to talk and watch a lot of the Amazon players play. Now, Clamazon is actually the AHGL team for Amazon, so I'll go a little bit into what I noticed.
It's After Hours Gaming League for those.
After Hours Gaming League, yes. But actually, hold that thought. Let's go ahead and introduce these fabulous players.
And the top right, still wearing the pink eyeshadow, just completely dominating the entire roster of Amazon, we have Zeez Steam.
Ooh. He is currently up 3-0 as a personal record. But his team is up 4-1, so he only needs to win this game to advance on and, I guess, take the series. And his opponent, going to be spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, is the orange eyeshadow Protoss. He is making it or breaking it. He needs to get 4 wins in a row to bring it back for his team. Let's see if he can do it. His name is Cicero, representing Team Clamazon.
Hooray!
And, granted, I am a little bit biased because I just said I used to intern at Amazon. I know Cicero. He's a really, really nice guy. Very sarcastic, actually. But I do really want him to win just because I want to see more games, Curtis. It's not even I want Amazon to win. I actually just want to see more games because this is really fun.
Now, were you able to play against him in the interns versus full-timers?
I believe I did not play, so actually I'll explain what Curtis is referring to. Amazon actually had an intern versus full-timer Showmatch that Cicero actually helped to host, and I got to see a little bit of Cicero's play there. And I didn't really get to see play against him personally, as that would have been PvP anyways, but I have seen some of his PvTs, and it's very interesting. One thing I will have to notice, he has been liking... 2 racks down from Steen. This is exactly what we were talking about. Actually, 3 racks, sorry, 3 racks.
Yeah.
But 3 racks total. This is going to be definitely a big pressure from Steen. And is Cicero going to know about it? I'm really curious to see.
He probably will. Oh my god.
He does not know. He does not scout it. Oh,
no.
That's
painful.
Oh no, that's going to be so difficult for him to hold off. If he goes for that 1 gateway expand, we actually don't even see... Where's the cybernetic score? Oh man, his cybernetic score is going to be a little bit delayed. What is going on with this? Oh, actually, no, sorry. The cybernetic score behind the memory line.
Yeah, I was like,
oh no, did he forget a cybernetic score?
And we're probably going to have a proxy pylon going down around the 3rd of Steam. And yeah, we're having the supply drop all in.
Oh man, this is going to be so deadly. And Cicero, one thing that could potentially save him, if you are rooting for him, is if he ends up going for something like a 4-gate, could actually end up doing okay. But I'm not sure right now. He is saving up a little bit of that chrono boost, was spending it on that stalker and that work gate technology, and it's actually starting to shape up to look like it might actually be a 4-gate.
The only thing I don't like about this is Steen is not hiding the amount of Marines that he has. So if the Zealot is able to see it, hold down the V vision of that Zealot to see exactly what he sees.
Oh, he sees all of the Marines, and he's actually going to go in. The Zealot is actually going to go down, though, and we see the SCVs being pulled bit by bit, Curtis. Bit by bit.
I know you've never been hit by this. Like, why would I ever do that to you? I'm a good guy.
Why would you ever do this to me? Now, we just see the Stalker actually. Now, one thing you have to note is the Stalker has 1 additional range on those Marines, so we can do a little bit of picking away at those Marines and those SCVs, but it looks like he's going to have to do that. Oh, no.
Yeah, he's opting out.
I think that's a bit of a mistake.
It's a little bit of a mistake.
But he is going to have the sentry over there. He needs to land this force field. If he messes up this force field, it could cost him the game. We do see a couple of SCVs making their way up. They're going to go ahead and target fire down that sentry. No, not target firing down. Just attack moving. But now we do see 4 gateways being morphed in. But the force field's going to run out before the gateways are fully morphed in. Oh my god, this is going to be so close. He needs to pull some probes.
Alright, and you warp the Stalkers in a fairly decent position, but we already have one of this warp gates being deactivated. That's a huge thing, and a lot of these pros are just being annihilated by the high DPS, and the bunker, the SCV isn't being stopped because just Cicero just doesn't have enough to try to stop this aggression.
And no, actually Cicero is doing a good job. He's using those Stalkers pretty well, but he has to make sure to keep them alive. He cannot allow those Marines to get that close. Oh my god, that was so close. You have to remember, he still has 9
is completely finished, and all he needs to do is load it up and just kind of win the game.
Oh my god, no, you know what? I don't actually know about this, Curtis. I think that he still is in a good position. He might be able to take out this bunker, actually. There are no more. There's only 1 SCV on the map. He still has 3 Stalkers that he can try and keep them alive and kite these Marines. He might actually be able to take this game. Oh my god, it's going to be so close. There's only 1. Oh my god, that's it! GG! Cicero wins game number 6! Wow, that was a fast game, Curtis.
Okay.
Curtis is just like, what just happened?
All right.
So
I mean, he's had 1 SCV. He had mules versus 5 probes. Okay.
Yeah, but it was interesting because, you know, I think what we ended up seeing in that game was just, I think, oh man, that was a pretty crazy game. But one thing I will say is that Cicero did a really nice job figuring out exactly how many probes to pull and keeping those gate. One thing I will have to say is that could have gone wrong in so many different ways for Cicero. Like if he had not been super reinforcing his gateways with pylons, he would have just instantly lost. If he did not force field off that initial try and push up at the exact right moment, he would have just lost. If he did not keep those Stalkers alive, but with very, very on point micro, he would have just lost. If he did not warp in Zealots to take out that bunker, he probably would have lost also. So I mean, like, I think Cicero did a really good job with all of his decision making in that. And not to take away from Steen. Steen, I think, did a pretty good job as well. He definitely made some really good choices, throwing down that bunker and everything. But in the end, I think kind of what you're saying, I'm a little bit surprised at how that ended.
I'm a little surprised, yeah. But you also have to take into account that Steen, this is his 4th game that he's played, and none of the games have been a short game. They've all been about 20 to 30 minutes long. And so his mindset may have just been, I'm just going to try this, and if it doesn't work immediately, it's just going to be over. And that's completely fine, since there's still the breadth of the roster for Team Rest in Peace. So I don't feel super bad about that. And we're just going to get ready to go on to the next game. I mean, their Calamazon is still in a very dangerous position right now, and so they just need to keep up this momentum and just keep pushing back. And we're just waiting since some of the players are getting some water. They need to be calm and relax, especially after a stressful kind of all-in situation like that. So it'll be great.
And actually, we're going to go ahead and take a really quick break. You know, just take a... This is exactly how I've actually pre-planned this. I have the layout set up like this in 3x3x3 because we're going to take a break every 3 games. So we're going to take another break after Game 9, and that break is probably going to last quite a while. It's probably going to last a week or something, but... Anyways, we'll be right back. So sit tight, guys, and enjoy the music.
Yeah.
Heard them say, toss is the way, toss is the answer. That's what they say. Look at these cheaters, combat and teaser. I'd rather 6 pull like Action Jesus. They should promote suck. I know we'll be pro just if someone would coach us. We're laddering just to compete, and it's Saturday when we GG, so we patiently play and tune in today. We'll make it some way, but for now we say, when I'm Grandmaster, I will play faster. They'll call me Bonjour, just like my name was Flash. But now I'm just plat, and now I'm just plat, and now I'm just plat. Oh, 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 oh. Give me free wins, just retire. Take your cheesing back to ire. Build more bases, take the map, bro. Use control groups, learn to macro. In your natural, lings are dancing. As you lose your whole expansion, don't throw tantrums, just get practice. And remember, special tactics. Staying forever numb. It's okay if you play like a scrub. Let's rejoice in this beautiful game. Cause regardless at the end of the day, we all say, when I'm Grandmaster, I will play faster. They'll call me Bonjour, just like my name was Flash. But now I'm just plat, and now I'm just plat, and now I'm just plat. Oh, when I'm Grandmaster, and I play faster, and I defeat you, don't you go getting all mad, or blame it on lag. Just wave your flag, just wave your flag. GG. When I'm Grandmaster, when I'm Grandmaster, and I defeat you, don't you go getting all mad, don't you go getting all mad, don't even blame it on lag, 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 don't you go blame it on lag.
I've been watching you since Avertech Season 1. You entertained me to no end. Flash and Jadong would have been a boring Mutafest if you weren't there to be our friend. You're just the perfect blend of tasteless wine. Your commentaries getting me so hot. Got neurosis from autosis, 'cause you crushed my heart. GG baby, let's go crazy, 'cause the game's about to start. So Leon is where I wanna be. I just wanna be next to you. And when the panda bear died, I remember I cried, and I remember that you cried too. And QQ is what everyone will do when they see you climbing ladders up into pro.
Guys, we're going to be getting back to the games in just 1 second. I'm going to be surprising Curtis as he should just now be getting back. Curtis, how you
Hello.
doing?
Great, how are you?
Doing well. Well rested after that nice little commercial break. And yeah, I think the game is going to be getting started in just a second. We're going to have a Protoss versus Zerg. And scores currently 4-2. We have potentially 3 more games, Curtis.
Those are 3 opportunities to be awesome.
3 opportunity. Hey, that last game was pretty awesome in my opinion. Like, oh my god, I love seeing games where it's like there is either the difference between someone barely holding off with like 1 probe left versus the opponent having zero, like nothing left. It's like they're completely 100% all in. Those are like the best games because it's like the most tense.
Actual all-ins, yeah.
It's an actual
Like-
all in.
Like when
can
retail
you
came out.
imagine? Can you imagine if we were watching a poker game, and they're like, "I'm all in," and then they take like 1 chip back? It's just like, what? Why? No, that's not all in. All in or no in.
That's right, but we are entering into game number 7 right now in a PvZ.
Oh my God, Curtis, we have been here for how many hours now? Oh my God, it's so much.
So-
I don't regret a single second of it. I have so much homework to do. I have so much work to do.
Please don't remind me of how much homework I have.
But we are going to be seeing this game on Condemned Ridge, one of the newer ladder maps. And by newer, I mean from this past season. But let's go ahead and jump in and introduce the players.
Alright, in the bottom right, wearing the pink eyeshadow this game, we have the Zerg player battling for RIP. We have Holophonist. Holophonist?
Holophonist. I don't know what that means, but if you are currently watching the stream right now, go ahead and open up dictionary.com and let us know in the chat.
But again, we have in the top left corner, who is that?
We have the Orange Plus player. He's currently on a 1-0 victory lead, and he needs to make it a 4-0 victory lead to make Clamazon come back in this best-of-9 series. He's starting his trend. He's starting the comeback. We're going to have to see if he's going to keep it up. His name is Cicero, representing Team Clamazon. We do end up seeing the probe going out, and actually we are actually getting a little bit of word of potential lag, and Holophone is saying he's getting a little bit of lag, so we're going to go ahead and just wait a little bit, pause, figure this out, and I'm going to bring it back to the splash screen really quickly.
Alright.
Catch you while you're yawning, and make sure that I'm completely unprepared for this.
I know.
Sorry about that. But, yeah, so Protoss versus Zerg, Have we seen a Protoss versus Zerg yet?
No, we have not. So we're finally going to see the Forge Fast Expand build, as we can already insinuate from this pylon being built at the bottom of this wide ramp.
Oh my god, how big of a throw-off would it be if Cicero was just doing this and he just threw down 1 gateway, 2 gateways? It's like a slightly proxied 2-gate.
Yeah, on this large map, yeah, that's not going to do anything.
Hey, that would be what you least expect. Oh my god, Cicero would have so... I don't know how else to put this, but he would have so many balls to do that. When he has to win 3 additional games without losing, to just go for some kind of tease like that. Oh my god, so we do actually see... Oh, actually, sorry, never mind. We do end up seeing a 15 pool going down from Holophonus, so he's going to feel pretty comfortable. That's pretty normal in this matchup, just because if you go for that hatchery first, you're so vulnerable to things like the cannon rushes, you're vulnerable to that stupid proxy pylon that might go down. There it is. Oh, I love this proxy. Let's go get a zoom in on this proxy pylon. This proxy pylon's like my favorite thing in the world to do. And okay, we do end up seeing the third finally going down for Holophonus, and that's actually, it's going to be a second, but it goes down in his third. What do you want me to say? Like, there's no good way to put this. There needs to be
his natural third.
A natural third. A natural third. I was gonna say there needs to be like a phrase or a name for that, because it's done all the time.
It's done all the time. But we have the Forge. It looks like we have the Nexus that started, then Forge, Gateway, and this drone is actually going to get some scouting information as their wall-off isn't fully complete, and so Iphonus is exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and Cicero actually playing it out. I don't want to say like super greedy or anything, but it was a little bit of a greedier style where he goes for the Nexus first, which is pretty normal, but then going for the Forge, and then threw down the Gateway before the cannon.
And we're about to see the third hatchery very soon. Now that we have 300. Yep, there we go.
There we go. And that's also pretty normal. Around 4 minutes and 30 seconds. That's the most normal thing in the world. And if you actually end up playing the, oh god, what was it? The Tastosis drinking game, go ahead and take a shot for that one. But, yeah, and we end up seeing Cicero once again going for that fairly greedy style just because, you know, the map is so freaking big. I mean,
I really like what Hipponus is doing with all these Zerglings. They're just scouting around constantly, and they have a really great map awareness for how large this map is. Except at the 6 o'clock, Zergling is a little scared to climb up that hill.
Yeah, just a little bit, but no worries.
Okay, there he goes.
I really like that the scouting around from Holophonus is. He's going to feel pretty comfortable knowing there's no proxy pylons or anything. Actually, do we even see a probe out for Cicero? No, we don't,
no,
actually. The minimap is empty.
Yes. Just Cicero just took his, like, kind of defensive probe if there was a bust, and now he's just hanging out by the assimilator, which, like, he's not Terran, so he doesn't have to do that. So I'm wondering, but we do have Overlords just hanging out by each other, just basic injecting, nothing too strenuous just yet.
Yeah, but I think the most important thing that we're going to be looking for in this matchup is when are the gas geysers taken, and that kind of goes for both of these players. We do end up seeing Cicero does have that third gas geyser down, and that's actually going to be a little bit indicative that that Stargate play might be coming out now. This isn't going to be any kind of two-base all-in, I'm going to kill you right now! Actually, we might actually end up seeing that if he does decide to go for a +1 Zealot attack, but we end up seeing no +1 being researched just now. So I think that this is going to be a light Stargate pressure as he tries to take his third behind it. And we actually see a couple of Zealots actually, speak of the Devil, making their way across the map over to the third, and they're going to be able to do a little bit of damage as there are only a couple of Zerglings out right now.
Yeah, and they're just kind of doing some damage, forcing just minerals to be burned up to make more either Zerglings or Queens or whatever, because we are then going to transition into more of this kind of Stargate play, as we have two. One is just finished and making the Void Ray just now.
You know, that is such a good point, Curtis. Actually, saying, hey, I'm going to force my opponent to make Zerglings instead of drones. And because they're going to be making Zerglings instead of drones, not only is that taking away from their economy, but it makes it harder to throw down something like this Evolution Chamber, and also it makes it even more painful to waste the drones that you do have on Spore Crawlers. So,
the Overlord came in and has spotted one of the Stargates just now and spotted the second one.
Oh my god. So actually, you know what? I take back what I had initially said. I think Cicero is going to be going very much all in. As two Stargates in this matchup is very indicative that you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to kill you right now because I'm tired of looking at your face.
And we have 4 Spore Crawlers going down right now, and the only thing I dislike is injects are being a little late. There we go. Except the one at the third. There we go.
Yeah. Actually, now we even see a third Spore Crawler going down at that third. I really like that decision just because that third is going to be the one that's a little bit harder for the Zerg player to defend, just because the creep spread is a little bit harder to get around to, as the main and the natural are very close together, so those queens can get between each other very easily. But that third is definitely going to need that extra little bit of defense. But now we do end up seeing just a couple of Zerglings moving around across the map. What is Cicero doing? He's actually just building up Void Rays.
He's making a lot of Void Rays. Robotics Bay throwing down more gateways. Maybe he doesn't want to... Oh, there's the 4th Void Ray, so now he's moving out. And then 2 Phoenixes. 1 Phoenix has just completed, so he will be able to lift off some of these Queens to do some damage. But Hypnosis already has 4 Queens at this third, along with just 3 Spore Crawlers. So he has a lot of defense if Cicero comes from this angle.
And actually, Hydralisk then coming out as well, so the longer that Cicero takes to do this pressure, the more difficult it's going to be for Cicero to actually do any damage. Now, one thing I will note is that this is actually not an FFA game. This is a 1 versus 1, but you're seeing mass Void Rays coming out, guys.
Yeah, but he's just continuing to make Phoenixes afterwards, since they are a little cheaper, so Cicero's getting prepared to do a tech switch when it comes to that. We just have 1 Queen now down at the third. Is just picking up extremely fast on this Extractor. None of the Void Rays seem to be fully charged yet. Oh! Speak of the Devil, 3 are fully charged, and so they will be able to put down extremely fast. Yes.
And even the Queen, actually, Transfuse going down, but doesn't end up saving it. And now we see some lift-ups on the Queen, and that's going to be able to easily pick off those Queens. And now we actually see some great micro going back and forth, keeping all of those Void Rays alive. Oh my god. None of those Void Rays look like they're going to die. There's one that's very close to it.
Oh, the Spore Crawler's down for its final shot.
Really
and
good control.
Are doing massive amounts of damage. Both of the players have over 1,000 minerals, which they need to try to spend. More
are coming out though.
Yep.
The Phoenix! Oh my god, now I see the brilliance of Cicero's play. He forces out all of those Hydrals, expects them actually, but he has just been pumping the Phoenix from the 2 Stargates, and the Phoenix are going to be so effective against those Hydralists, and now with those Void Rays he can pick off that third, and now we see even the Queens trying to come out and do a bit of additional damage. The drones and the roaches and the Zerglings trying to soak up damage, but oh my god, Cicero's, the damage has been done.
Yeah, and +1 range is now completely finished for these Hydralisks, so as long as Hypnosis doesn't die immediately right now, these Hydralisks should be enough to hold off this pressure, but Cicero has done such amount of damage, and has even started taking up his third right.
Oh my god, the Overlords, Curtis! All of the Overlords are going down. 2 two of these Phoenix and the Void Rays, and he is heavily supply blocked now. That's got to be so annoying. And
yeah, that is extremely frustrating. Not only is the Zerg kind of trapped onto this this 2 base play, but now he doesn't even have the Overlords to commit. He doesn't have the Queens to inject. The Zerg player is at a huge disadvantage, and these Phoenixes now are going to do a little run by in the main base, pick up probably some of these drones, and just be annoying. He just needs to constantly move these around and do as much damage as he can. No, instead he just runs by, picks off an Overlord, and
I
just
really
gets...
agree with that decision, actually. Just because, you know, you don't want to lose these Phoenix. These Phoenix are basically what's stopping your opponent from just running straight down to your base and killing you off right now. And actually, speaking of which, Cicero, behind all of that aggression, and this is like the mark of a fantastic player, grabbed his third, and I really, really like that decision. He's going to be in such a good economic position. Now all he has to do is wait. He's taking up to that Colossus. He's getting the Twilight Council for any kind of additional +2 weapons upgrade and armor upgrades, and yeah, he's just buying time with these Phoenix, and I really like that. And now we do end up seeing just units being produced for Holophonus, and even though he is taking that third, I think he's going to have to go into an all-in position soon.
It's going to be, he either has to be very risky and start taking 2 hatcheries at a time, or get ready to do a big push. You're exactly right with that. But he just needs to spend these minerals, even throwing down additional macro hatches, since he's almost at 2,000 additional minerals because he's been supply blocked for such a long time. And these Phoenixes have such big map control that he's making sure that there's no proxy hatches going down for additional bases. Colossus are now in production. Right. Extended thermal lances are in production, and I think he already has, he just has 1 forge up. He'll have a second one very soon, and just continually pumping out those upgrades. Yeah, the roasts for the Zerg are just 1-0, while already it's 1-1-0 for the Protoss player, and that's going to mean the next push is going to be very effective.
Yeah, the Protoss player actually even having air weapon upgrades, which is not something you see every day, but yeah. The Protoss player is just looking to be in such a great position now. And again, one thing that you were saying is like so smart. The Zerg player is not getting supply block just because he's messing up. And even though I assure you, he is really upset right now. His nerves have been hit. He is not in a happy place right now. But I mean, he's just been losing Overlords left and right. We can even see he actually just went to the point where he said, "Screw it, I'm just gonna make enough Overlords to go to 170 supply, even though I don't have anything close to that." He's just so upset with it. He does not want to deal with losing any additional Overlords, and Cicero's done a great job keeping these Phoenix alive. I really feel the Holophonus is going to be in a make-or-break situation to just try and win this game very, very soon, as it's either that or he has to, again, as you said, take another base very, very quickly.
And Cicero's already started his 4th base now.
Cicero gonna
so he has
the drone? No.
He missed it.
Yeah, the drone going over to the 4th, and Cicero reacting to it just a little bit too slowly, but still gonna feel pretty comfortable moving around with those Phoenix and just try and stop any additional drones, I guess, from taking base away. Actually, it looks like Holophone is taking a play out of your book, Curtis, going ahead and taking that 5th base while the 4th is going up. Actually, one really cool note about this is look at the positioning of that 4th and where the 5th is. The 4th is kind of toward the bottom center. Meanwhile, the 5th is very far up in the top right-hand corner. So what that's going to mean is Cicero, with a slightly immobile force due to these Colossus and these Void Rays, he's going to have a hard time picking out both of them. So even if he ends up losing one, he knows almost for a fact that he's going to be able to get up both one of them, at least one of them.
We have 14 Corruptors that are about to pop for the Zerg player, and he's going to then be able to kind of play a little footsie game against these Phoenixes, as well as have very good defense against the Void Rays, which he was unable to kill, and these Colossus, which I don't even think he's seen yet.
Yeah, the Colossus sitting at +1/+1 with +2 about to finish. Oh my god, Gravitic boosters actually being researched in the meanwhile. So do we actually see a Warp Prism coming out soon? Or sorry, the Warp Prism Gravitic Drive is what actually gives Warp Prism speed, but that's actually queued up afterwards. So I think we're going to be seeing a Warp Prism after the Observer speed research, which is honestly one of the most under-researched things in the game. But here we see the 4th actually under fire from the Protoss Ball.
And goes down extremely fast.
Yeah, I mean, hatcheries don't do a lot of damage to the Protoss Ball, so...
the one War Prism is getting caught up, so that was very short-lived in the middle of the map.
But we might end up seeing another one come out later on, just because he's researching that Warp Prism speed. I feel like he might plan to do something with it, but it looks like Holophonus in it for the win, and now he's just going to go ahead and see how much damage he can do. The Corruptor's doing a lot of damage to those Void Rays, but the Colossus ripping apart the Roach army. Now we can actually see over here that the Hydralisks are going to be under fire very, very soon. The Phoenix could even be lifting up things, but it doesn't matter. They're just target firing down those Corruptors. It's not going to matter. The Zealots come in with charge, actually, even, and taking out all of those Hydralisks. And now what does Holophonus do other than make 32 additional Roaches and just pray he can hold off the Protoss Ball?
Yeah, and during that whole time, the Colossuses were not being targeted down, so their splash damage was doing just massive, massive damage to all those Roaches and Hydralisks. And we still even have one Colossus that is just roaming around. Neither player has started their +3 upgrades just yet. Oh, and speak of the devil, +3/+3 has started for Protoss, and +2, I'm sorry, has started for Zerg for their carapace upgrades. But as Cicero just continues to put on pressure to see exactly how much he can extend into the Zerg territory, looks like he's just going to clean up some of these creep tumors and just say, hey, you're not going to have the mobility advantage when I'm pushing into your territory. And these Roaches are just running scared. Phoenixes are picking up Queens and just, the flank of Corruptors, but I do not think it will be enough, even though one of the Colossus has fallen down.
Yeah, I think that, again, that was a really nice play from Holophonus, being able to get that flank position, and even though it will drive Cicero back, he's going to get away with a majority of these Stalkers, and of course with those Void Rays and Phoenix. So he ended up losing that Colossus. He actually has 2 Immortals and a Colossus sitting back at home, which is kind of a shame considering that would have helped out so much against this Roach, pure Roach army. But yeah, Cicero's still going to be looking to be in a good position. Holophonus has to make something happen. Now, he does have that 4th up, but I think he is going to be needing a 5th. He needs to do something drastic right now to come back into this game, as Cicero's content to just kind of sit by and slowly do little bits of damage and kind of, pick away at your opponent. Actually,
and someone just pinged on the mini-map because there was a lone Phoenix that was just shooting Overlords that got picked off by a Corruptor.
One actual other note is that Cicero has once again grabbed the expansion over the bottom right-hand corner. Bit of an interesting decision. I suppose he feels that the Roach Corruptor army is a little bit, I guess, not as mobile, but I don't know. Or maybe it's just a hidden expansion, hoping that his opponent won't find it. I'm really curious to see what his thought process is behind that, but in the meantime,
in the top right, that pylon is just out of vision of the hatchery.
Oh, that's so odd. No, the pylon sees the hatchery. The hatchery does not see the pylon. But
yeah,
now we might be wondering, why are there 2 Zealots connected over there? Does he have a Warp Prism? No. Oh, actually, the Corruptor is actually going in a little bit over to the Protoss army, trying to get some good snipes off of the Colossus, but it does not end up working out. The Corruptor's under fire. Now the Roach is actually not able to get a good position because those Zealots are acting as force fields, and now with all the Corruptors basically being picked off, I think that Cicero's going to feel pretty comfortable. Look at this Immortal count! Oh my god!
Immortals are just out of control, just melting away those Roach faces. It wasn't even a fair fight.
Yeah, and +3/+3 is about to finish there. Now they are now finished. 2 more Immortals going to be popped. Dark Shrine on the way. And
yes,
that expansion over the top right was cancelled.
Oh, look at this massive amount of to the main of the Zerg base, and this is just going to be
so smart.
Really strong. Even though it's mined out completely, it is so far away for their units to pull back and handle this that the Stalkers and Immortals are now able just to walk up the front door and be in a perfect position by pinning them into their natural and main base.
Oh, you are so smart, Curtis. That is so right. He has had the golden opportunity to go ahead and take out this third. There is only 1 mining base left over, and now he can go ahead and use all these Immortals to take out this. Oh my god, actually no, I think that he has actually made a bit of a mistake going a little bit too far into that third, and is actually going to get completely taken out, but I'm not sure if it's going to matter. Look at the supply, Curtis. He still has a very heavy supply lead, and
it's a massive lead, and the Zerg base has exactly 3 mineral fields in which he's mining from.
Oh god, there are still Zealots in the main.
Yeah, he's just still been using those Warp Prisms, which was finally taken out.
On the ramp has actually been keeping a lot of those Hydralisks out, and now finally that 1 sentry does finally get picked off. There are still a couple of Zealots that are going to get cleaned up, and
we've seen all these Archons in the middle.
3/3 Archons. That's not scary.
3/3 Archons with a Mortal backup, and then a massive wave of Zealots. This is going to be a super pressure build with this extremely long-range mining of these drones.
Yeah, and now we do see one final engagement, gonna be avoided for a little bit, but you know, I have to say, Curtis, I actually really like Holophonus' thought process right now. You know what? I'm gonna turn the tables on this. Holophonus is drawing this game out as long as possible because he's trying to tire out Cicero.
The DTs in the top right.
The DTs?
Yeah, top right.
Oh my god! The DTs take out the expansion.
This is what I've been telling you.
Oh man, that's brutal, but
back the Protoss army just for right now, but all of these Zealots are going to be able to take up so much damage, and these Archons, as soon as they get in range of all these Hydralisks, which don't have the speed upgrade just yet. Oh, and a Colossus!
Oh, the Colossus. They're going to melt those Hydralisks. There's the GG. Finally, out of Holophonus, finally throwing in the towel, and that is actually going to put Cicero up to a 2-0 winning streak. So, congratulations to him, but he still has to win 2 more. And again, I'm going to go over just what I was saying toward the end. I really think that Holophonus was just trying to draw out that game. I mean, he clearly should have known, hey, I lost my third very early on. It's been so difficult to come back in this game. Now, definitely have to hand it to Holophonus. He did a fantastic job staying in that game. Did some really good jobs, like, for example, getting that big surround with the Hydralis Roach army on basically Cicero's army, even though Cicero was able to replenish it. He was drawing out that game, and again, you kind of mentioned this before with Zeez's Stein, or Steen as I kept saying it. Steen was playing he had played 4 games. He was getting kind of tired, and I think as Cicero starts getting tired as well, it's going to start affecting his gameplay, especially going into game number 8, game number 9. Oh man, we've been here for a while, Curtis, and I mean,
yeah, I actually have to head out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure even the spectators are starting to think like, oh man, this is going pretty long. Like, think about it, the players, if you have to play through all 4 of those games with that pressure constantly on your mind, thinking, oh, I have to win these games, that can really get to you. And I think Holophonus, being the team player, I'm gonna say it right now, Holophonus is being the team player. He's tiring out his opponent for his next teammate to take him out.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be a very good game. But unfortunately, I still have to leave right now because I have group meetings, and even though it's Sunday, work doesn't stop for me.
Oh, man.
So thanks for tuning in. Continue to watch Fear Dragon talk, and I'll see you guys later. And tune in for the CSL at Purdue University, as both Fear Dragon and I will be casting the games and hopefully playing. So good luck to all the rest of the performers, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Yes, thank you so much, Curtis, for coming, and I don't know what I'm going to do without you, but I'll try and stick with it for 2 more games.
You got
give a big heart for Curtis. Like, he's definitely been so helpful. Trust me on this. If you ever watch the cast on actually my own YouTube channel, youtube.com/FearDragon64, you'll see how many things I just miss on the minimap. And Curtis is out there. He's looking out for me. He catches me up on all those wrong things I would be saying about analytical stuff and catching all the drops on the minimap and the crazy stuff. Thank you so much, Curtis. Good luck with your work.
All right. See you, man.
Now, of course, I love Curtis, but I have to say, guys, there is someone else in my life that really just agrees with me all the time. Yeah! We have Mr. Agreeable, and I'm going to go ahead and close that. Yeah. So, tell me, Old Spice Man, how good is Old Spice Body Wash? I'm just kidding. I am not sponsored by Old Spice Body Wash. Please, I am not endorsing this. I do not represent Old Spice Body Wash in any capacity whatsoever, or I do not represent Old Spice Body Wash man. Definitely don't represent him. But I think we are going to be jumping into game number 8. We are finally seeing the game start to dwindle down. There's only going to be 2 more games potentially left, as Rest in Peace Zeez still only needs to win 1 more game, and that means they have 1 more game where they can kind of, I don't want to say throw it away, but they can go for something kind of crazy and not feel too bad if they lose it. But still, we're getting very close to an ace match, and it's going to be very scary if it comes to that, as you know, Cicero is building up that momentum. We're actually seeing the game getting started, so let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to be seeing Cicero versus Zeez, Dr. Device. It's going to be another Protoss versus Terran matchup. We've seen quite a few of those today. We're going to have to see how this one goes, as we're seeing actually GSL Whirlwind. Wow. Have not seen this map actually played all that much, as it's not really a ladder map, but let's go ahead and jump in and introduce these players. Spawn down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the pink eyeshadow. As a Terran player representing team Rest in Peace Zeez, we have Zeez, Dr. Device. And of course, him giving, actually, has this been going on all the time? Rest in Peace Zeez has just been thrown out every single time. And actually, we'll go ahead and introduce the player in the top right-hand corner, currently up as a personal victory, 2-0 against his enemy team. He is the team captain for Team Clamazon, and obviously representing them, also actually a goer of Something Awful, so he kind of quasi belongs to Team Rest in Peace Zeez, but he's representing Team Clamazon. He is Cicero, and he needs to win 2 more games to bring it back for his team. He just needs to win this game to bring it to the ace match, though, and if he brings it to the ace match, honestly, nobody, and I mean nobody, can say that he did not do right by his team. So we end up seeing this game starting to pick off just kind of normal. We don't see any kind of proxy shenanigans coming out of Dr. Device. And it would have been very difficult for him, I would have to say, as this map is very, very large. We can see over here, let's just look at the way that, you know, you'd have to send your scouting SCVs, or actually even just your units to go ahead and try and proxy something. You'd have to go up here, send your SCV all the way up here, okay? Stay with me, we're going over here. Okay, we're halfway to our opponent's base. Cool. All right, now we're going to keep going. All right, cut along this ridge. Over here, over to this ramp. All right, we're going to go up here. Actually, go straight down. Actually, I think there was a path over here. Yeah, there was a path over there, but ignore that. We're going to go up this ramp. Okay, over here. And now let's pretend that we got here before the expansion was thrown down. We'll go up the ramp. Can't assume that they're walling off because it's a Protoss. Okay, now we know that our opponent is over here. Or now we know our opponent's not over here. As we can see, timing was relatively spot on in terms of my camera control. So we can see the Terran player just now scouted one place. He now knows his opponent's not in the bottom left-hand corner. Now he needs to go make that trip one more time. So by this point, Cicero would feel pretty comfortable. He's already have this gateway halfway done, so it would be very difficult to proxy something on this map. But we still could be seeing some kind of other cheese. No, actually we see a command center coming out of Dr. Device, as no gas being thrown down. Definitely going to be helpful, since command centers kind of cost a lot. It's 400 minerals, and they cost more than any other building in the game. Alongside Nexus, alongside a Nexus. And I guess you could even make the argument that the Orbital Command is an extra 150, so an Orbital Command costs 550 for your Dragon. What are you talking about? You're dumb and you smell like cheese and onions. Well, I just had Jimmy John's, that's why. But actually, oh, interesting opening we do see from Cicero. We actually see an opening that we saw out of one of his, I think it was his teammate, that went for this 3-stalker kind of rush-ish pressure, potentially, as we see the second gateway coming out very early. That's going to allow him to produce 2 units very early on. And it doesn't actually look like he's going to be going for anything like a 3-stalker rush. He's going to be producing that Zealot, have it in a bit of a defensive position for right now. I feel like he could actually send that out across the map, just get a little bit of scouting information. And the reason why that is because if you go ahead and take a look, the Zealot actually has, where it is, movement speed 2.25, and what is the movement speed of a Marine? It is 2.25 as well. So, hey, if you send the Zealot out, you see something that you don't feel like you can handle, you can easily run away. You move at the same speed, so those Marines will never actually catch up enough to shoot at you. Now we do see 2 stalkers popping out for Cicero, so it kind of looks like a little bit of an altercation, and now that's going to allow him to do a little bit of pressure potentially with 2 stalkers and a Zealot. Now, one thing that I will note again, and this kind of came up earlier on with Cicero in that very first game he played, where he was able to use those stalkers to kind of kite those Marines a little bit when he was getting all in and has a bunker in his base and all of that good stuff. But you know, you can use those when your opponent tries to move across the map, especially on a map like this that is so large. You have a lot of space where if your opponent tries to move out with just a giant Marine force to put on a little bit of pressure, the stalkers can whittle away at those Marines and really dwindle the actual aggression that your opponent's trying to put on you. But let's hold that thought and look at what exactly Cicero is up to. We see a lot of gas down for Cicero. That's going to allow him to tech up very quickly. As we can see, he's adding on that third gateway. You do want 3 gateways to play it safe, just to make sure that you aren't going to be big, like there's not some big all-in coming out before you throw down something like, say, a robotic facility. But in the meanwhile, we see a very big barracks play coming out over here, and actually a factory going down. So we will be seeing, I actually take back what I said, didn't mean to say it. We don't see a giant barracks play coming out. We actually see a relatively fast starport coming out, and again, with that starport and the stim coming out, I would actually expect to see him go for something like a +1 stim and combat shields with some, maybe a couple of medevacs coming out, just to put on a little bit of pressure on your Protoss opponent. Because if there's one thing that Terrans have learned in the past, say 5 or 6 months, it's that if you do not put some kind of pressure on your Protoss opponent, assuming that they macro relatively on the same level, they will probably be able to win in the big engagement, as long as they don't completely botch anything. Assuming you guys are playing on relatively the same level, you need to put some pressure on your opponent. And I think that that is going to be the kind of pressure that Dr. Device ends up putting on. And we do see it, the starport being thrown down along with that reactor. And again, that +1 weapons being researched, so Dr. Device going to be looking to get that upgrade advantage. But of course, we do see Cicero getting those 2 forges, and ooh, I don't exactly agree with this kind of positioning on the forge, as generally the mantra of a Protoss player is don't put your buildings that are important in researching things on the edge of your base. And the reason why that is against, and it's specifically against, oh no, Cicero, don't lag out, Cicero. Hopefully he doesn't lag out, as it won't be the biggest loss in the world, as both of these players haven't really lost anything. So it won't be the end of the world, but it'd still be very annoying. As you can see, we're already at the close to the 9-minute mark. That'd be very sad to see. But anyways, as I was saying, you don't really want to put your buildings over at the edge, because if the Terran decides to drop it, that's going to be the first thing they see. They immediately depower the pylon, so it halts the research, and then they have the opportunity to just stim and take it out, and immediately your units are coming over. Where do your units have to really run to actually have space to take out those medevacs? They're right next to the cliff, so that means they can immediately pick up as soon as your units come and leave. And now they've done a bunch of damage to your forge, potentially even taking it out. And it can be very annoying. So that's why I don't really disagree. I don't really agree with Cicero's decision to keep that over there. We can see the drop icon has finally shown up, and I'm actually going to go ahead and just pop back over to this. And Old Spice body wash, man. Should you keep your forges closer to the inside of your base? Yes, indeed. Oh, no. It looks like Cicero ended up dropping out, so we are actually going to be seeing a remake, I suppose. Hopefully Cicero is not completely offline, and, he didn't... Yes, it looks like he is online, so we'll probably just be seeing a regame. And, we are kind of lucky that neither player really went for any kind of really big early aggression, and because, it would have been an iffy situation, as Old Spice Body Wash man can tell you. If you agree with me on this, right? That if there had been some kind of big losses, it would have been very difficult for both of these players to swallow, like, now we have to restart, but we had such a lead, or the other team might be thinking like, oh, thank God, we were in a bad situation because we'd taken so much, or our team had taken so much damage from that early aggression. But since we didn't end up seeing that, don't have to worry about it. Now, one thing I will note though is I have to say this kind of goes as a point against Team Clamazon, as Team Clamazon is definitely going to be very tired at this point. As we kind of mentioned this before, Curtis and I, but Clamazon is currently sitting with only 1 player left, and he's been playing for 2 games already. He's going to be going into his 3rd game, actually technically his 4th game, because he just played a 9-minute game where everything he did was undone. So it's going to be very frustrating, and it's just going to be tiring him out. And that's just going to tire him out a little bit further. So I think that, as unfortunate as that is, I think Team Rest in Peace Zeez is going to get a bit of an advantage out off of that. But we're going to have to wait and see. I'm sure that Cicero has been very, very much well attuned to playing massive ladder game flow thingies, sessions is the word I was looking for. But I'm sure that he's very much used to that. But we'll have to wait and see. Is he even going to go for the same thing? That's another thing that could come up. I don't believe that too much scouting information was really given up in that game, but, you know, it could be a bit of a question. I kind of felt safe knowing that my opponent went for the expansion instead of going for some kind of cheese. Players could actually change it up in this game. There's only one way to find out, though. Game's getting started. Water is so good. But with that, let's go ahead and jump in and introduce the players spawning up here in the top left-hand corner. Once again, as the orange Protoss, we have Cicero, and he's going to be representing Team Clamazon. He needs to win this game to bring it to the ace match, but he must be getting tired. We're going to see whether or not he has the stamina and the wits and the skill to take out his next two opponents. But I'm sure his opponent is going to have something to say about that in this game. Spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner as the pink Terran, we have representing Team Rest in Peace Zeez from the Zealot Zone chat or subform on Something Awful. We have Dr. Device, and he is going to be looking to try and take this game by no matter the cost from Cicero, so that his ally does not have to bring this to the ace match. Now we do end up seeing regular old builds coming out of both these players. Pylon and Supply Depot. It's kind of hard to do a whole lot in this game if you don't have supply. So they're going to go ahead and throw those down. We don't see anything kind of funky going down. We don't see anything like a Forge Fast Expand. You know, I say Forge Fast Expand, but, you know, it's not actually that abnormal to see. It did get popularized by a lot of Protoss players for a little while, but it's kind of fallen out of favor now. And they're just kind of sticking with those one gateway expands. But we do see Dr. Device sending out that scouting SCV as Cicero sends out that scouting probe. Now, one interesting little note about Dr. Device's style of play is he doesn't actually go for that wall off on the ramp. Now, one reason for that is it's kind of a leftover remnant of some of the earlier days where Protosses would see a Terran wall off. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. When you see your opponent wall off as a Protoss player, you get this little inkling that, hey, you know what? I just plant a pylon right here. I'm going to plant one right there. I'm going to plant a Stargate right here. I'm going to build 3 gateways in my main. And make Stalkers and deny vision. Just going to go ahead and deny vision, stop them from being able to do anything. They don't want to waste a scan just to scout to see if there was an expansion thrown down. And then I make a Void Ray, and I move over, and I put a bunch of pressure on the front, potentially killing off this expansion. The Void Ray charges up on those bunkers pretty gosh darn fast. And, yeah, you can end up taking out all of the buildings at the wall off. They end up losing a 2 supply depots and a barracks potentially. The barracks should get lifted off, but you know, of course we don't end up seeing any of this, but that is just kind of a little bit of the logic behind that. So kind of interesting, Dr. Device not going for that. As a, you know, it has fallen a bit out of favor, and especially on a large map like this, I feel like you can get away with it before the Protoss could really decide to go for something like that. But, you know, that is the way that this game is going to go. Now, we do end up seeing this SCV getting a money scout off on exactly what Cicero's doing, and Cicero going for the exact same thing. And, oh my god, angry train probes, no, they're just transferring, and, you know, they might be, no, they're not even going to go ahead and stick one of them on that SCV. The SCV is going to go ahead and happily return home to mining. He's done his job. He's going to get his pension. He's so excited, and I don't know who he's voting for, but I don't like to get too political over here. Anyways, we do end up seeing Dr. Device also looking to go for a very similar build. Now, we do actually end up seeing just one gas geyser down for now, so we might end up seeing the tech lab being thrown down sometime in the near future. That's going to be able to start that stim upgrade that's going to be very useful for him. And of course, we see that bunker over here, and that's going to allow him to be feeling pretty safe against any kind of pokes that Cicero decides to do. But of course, we see Cicero going for that same build, not going to really do any kind of pokes. Going to go ahead and grab that 4th gas geyser a little bit later than his 2nd and 3rds. Same as before, go ahead and get that. Oh, actually here we do see a little bit of variation, getting 2 zealots instead of 1 zealot and then 2 stalkers. So a bit of an interesting decision from Cicero. Not sure if that was intentional or not, but we'll end up seeing how exactly he decides to play that out. He could actually put on a little bit of pressure with these 2 zealots and stalker, just kind of poke out across the map, force maybe a couple of SCVs to get pulled, scare Dr. Device into thinking that there's some kind of aggression coming, but, you know, Not going to be looking to do that for now. We do see the Tech Lab did go down from Dr. Device and that second Gas Geyser as well. So I would actually be likely expecting Dr. Device go ahead and throw down a factory sometime soon, as there's no other real reason to go ahead and go for that second Gas Geyser this early unless you were trying to go for that. And we do see that factory plopping right down over here, and Dr. Device looking to be doing the same thing. So both these players, for the most part, really just kind of sticking to their guns, and, you know, also a little bit of honor code, saying, hey, you know what? Drop wasn't supposed to happen, and I don't want to play this game out any differently than it would have. Now, we are approaching the point where we did experience that drop earlier on. We do actually see Cicero moving out with the Stalker, going to go ahead and potentially do a little bit of poking. He will end up seeing these two bunkers over here, and now he's going to know, hey, you know what, two bunkers full of Marines, and probably can't do any damage or poke up or do anything like that. Now, you do see a very nice control from Cicero. Did keep that Stalker very much alive without even losing all of its shields. So he's going to go ahead and happily return to that Zelnaga Watchtower. Actually, kind of interesting that he's going to send it back after that. I'd really like to see him leave it over there. But, of course, we do see the Starport going down for Dr. Device, so Cicero should know in about 2 minutes he should be expecting the potential for a drop play. As we even see a lot of Marines out, Stim will be finished up. And, you know, +1 weapons won't exactly be finished up. Well, actually, no, +1 weapons will be very close to being finished up around the time that a drop could potentially come in. So, really curious to see whether or not he's going to be going for that. Meanwhile, we see Double Forges going down once again. Observer, slightly a supply block, but he's going to go ahead and pop out. And Chrono Boost, a little bit of it being wasted, but not a big deal. It's going to go ahead and pop out and probably just go ahead and see what exactly Dr. Device is up to. We can already see the reactor getting finished up on that starport, and, you know, pretty clear what Dr. Device is up to from our standpoint, but Cicero is not entirely sure. He doesn't really know for a fact whether or not Dr. Device is going for a big barracks play or if he went for those earlier medevacs, so he has to be a bit careful. He has to account for both. That's partially why we will end up seeing a lot of these sentries come out. Sentries are a bit of a safer play. And eventually I would like to see him, well, first of all, getting some of these upgrades once he gets the money for it, as well as sending out the Observer to go ahead and scout out everything. Now, we do see a very fast third coming out from Cicero, and once again, we are hitting close to the 10-minute mark. So now it looks like the game is pretty much kind of picked up where it left off from the last game. So no harm, no foul from that disconnect, and looks like we're going to see, ooh, Dr. Device loading up for a drop and even moving out a couple of his units over, and well, actually no, did he load up for a drop? No, actually just salvaging the bunker and unloading it, and now we actually see, oh, I love this play from Dr. Device. Scouting around, making sure there's no proxy pylons, making sure there's no counter aggression that can happen over there, and moving out across the map with this force. Now, Cicero should know about it, or actually, no. Oh no, the Observer actually taking a bit of a roundabout path. He should not actually know about it. And that's actually going to mean that his third expansion is going to be a little bit vulnerable, as all of his units are positioned over here at the natural expansion. So all of Dr. Device's units can run up over here, do a big quick snipe off on that third, and just run down over here. Or actually, I guess come up from this angle makes a little bit more sense, but now we see the units moving in. When is Cicero going to react? It looks like, oh my god, Cicero might have just given up on this. No, he's going to go ahead and move out. Now, he will be able to potentially force field off of these units, but no, it doesn't look like he's going to make it there in time. All these units are going to get away happily and without really taking a whole lot of damage. So, wow, a beautiful win from Dr. Device. He's going to go ahead and do that and get up his third in the midst while of all of that. So, wow, that's going to put Dr. Device in a pretty comfortable position, I have to say. I mean, sniping off a Nexus, always a nice thing when you do it completely for free. And of course, with that medevac count building up, that will allow him to also put on a little bit of drop pressure. I think he could do some nice drop plays over here, this little side over here. Meanwhile, also putting a little bit of pressure over at the natural expansion, forcing a couple of those forces, but it looks like he's going to get the cancel on the third one more time, and we can even see Cicero not even bothering to do anything about it. I think Cicero might actually just go ahead and go for some kind of two-base all-in at this point, as he must be so frustrated. But look at this, the drop play going to be coming out, and that's actually going to pull Cicero a little bit apart. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Move in to the natural expansion of your opponent with your main force, and then go ahead and do a drop play over at the main. And now we do oversee, oh, actually, one of the forges does get sniped off. None of these were actually researching anything, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. All the units do get cleaned up, and now we do see the main force of Dr. Device moving into the natural expansion. They're going to be able to snipe off the natural expansion nexus and then immediately run away. I'd even like to see, yeah, a lot of them are actually stemmed up, so Dr. Device is going to be on the retreat, and now that is going to I guarantee you, Cicero's just going to have to move out across the map with his force, maybe try and get one more wave of reinforcements, and after he gets unsupply blocked. But yeah, he is basically going to have to be all in at this point now. He does have 3 Colossus with +1 weapons, so that's going to be very, very useful. But we do see Dr. Device sitting on +1/+1 himself, and oh, I love this. He's getting into a position that he might be able to do some kind of, actually no, I don't agree with this. Oh no, Dr. Device with a bit of a miscontrol. I thought he was setting up for a flanking position, but it looks like it ends up not working out. He's going to have to go ahead and retreat. One thing that he does have going for him, though, in addition to this 3rd expansion and, of course, the natural expansion, of course, is going to be the fact that he has a lot of medevacs now. All of his units are very low in health. He needs to go ahead and wait for them to go ahead and heal up. If he does not heal these units up, he's going to be in a terrible position against these Colossus, but we do end up seeing him retreating. And now, oh my god, a lot of those SCVs and Mules, and even a couple of those Marauders and units actually end up getting picked off. Now we do end up seeing these Colossus go ahead and crush those force fields, move over to the natural, but now the bunker is going to become so important. We even see a couple of buildings being placed over here, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter for now. We do see the units coming in. Now we do see a couple of those Zealots. Where is I can't minimize the rest of the UI, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. We do see quite a few force fields being thrown down, stopping those Marines and some Marauders. We're able to do a whole lot of damage, but all of the Marines and Marauders are doing a good job cleaning up all those Zealots, and now only 1 Colossus left over. And we do end up seeing the Immortals getting sniped off, and now we're only a couple of Stalkers left over, the 2 Colossus left over as well, but the Marine Marauder force is just so scary. I don't think that Cicero is going to feel comfortable moving in, but he doesn't have a choice anymore. He has to move in. He reinforces with a couple of Zealots, but I think that's Dr. Device is going to take this game. He's going to do it. I think he's going to have it. Dr. Device repping Team Rest in Pieces might be able to have this game. He might be able to push Cicero back after that great play, taking out that natural expansion, taking out the 3rd. But, oh my god, actually, Cicero has reestablished both of those, so, oh my god, actually, Dr. Device, or Cicero, I should say, Cicero looks like he might actually be back in this game. Cicero, even though he did end up losing all of his army, end up losing all of his tech, except for the single Colossus, he might actually still be in this game just due to the fact that he was able to put on so much pressure, force the lift up on that 3rd expansion, and even cause a lot of those SCVs to die in that big engagement. You know, Cicero did get the opportunity to reestablish this 3rd, reestablish that natural expansion. We can see he is still leading in that worker count. Now, of course, Terran does have those oh-so-imba mules from 3 Terran command centers, but still, oh my god, I think he might actually be back now. So, you know, Dr. Device, don't get me wrong, Dr. Device still definitely has a lead in this game, but it's not completely over for Cicero. Now, Dr. Device is taking up to those ghosts, as you would expect a doctor to be doing. Those ghosts, oh so smart, using those EMPs to be able to do a massive amount of damage. It's not just about minimizing those force field energy or even the High Templar energy, it's also about taking out those shields, and really it's almost like landing an instantaneous storm. Now, it doesn't do quite as much damage, but still, it does a lot of damage very, very quickly, and Cicero has to be very, very aware of that, as his army composition is very zealot heavy. Now, one thing I would really like to see out of Cicero would actually be even researching that charge, as we actually see him opting for Blink, and a kind of interesting decision considering what his unit composition is currently like. Now, he does have actually now just warped in a very large group of Stalkers, but he's going to have to deal with this army that's barreling down the center from Dr. Device. We can even see in the supply count, 161 supply to 116, and oh my god, Cicero going for a 4th expansion. He needs every bit of minerals and gas that he can afford right now. He does actually have Psystorm on the way, as well as High Templars warping in, so the longer that Dr. Device takes to move out across the map and be in this big engagement, the longer it's going to be before Cicero will have that storm. And now we do see the Vikings coming in. We're going to get some nice shots off. Oh my god, actually getting a nice EMP off on a lot of those Zealots, and now we do see a lot of feedbacks going down from those High Templars, realizing he's not going to have them in that giant engagement. Now we do see, though, the only Stalker force remaining, and the Marine Marauder force is going to be able to easily clean up the remaining army. Cicero, there's the GG! Very well played from Dr. Device, very well played from Team Rest in Peace, and it looks like Cicero, even though he was looking to be in such a great position in just trying to take out one by one Rest in Peace's teammates, he just was not able to do it in game number 8, so close to the ace match, got taken out by Dr. Device. So very well played by both of those players. Oh my god, that was something else, guys. So, hey, actually, you know what? I need to update the overlay. It looks like Team Rest in Peace Zeez going to be taking the best of 9 series. Let's go ahead and make it official. Um, sorry guys, when you are both the caster and the producer, you have to do all this stuff all on the spot. But here we do see it. Rest in peace, Zeez, taking the best of 9 series. 4 and 3, so very, very close. So yeah. Oh, sorry. Wait. 5 and 3. 5 and 3. But thank you everyone who decided to tune in. Thank you all to all the players and everything else. But we got to see some excellent games come out. We got to see some cheese with the giant all-in where Cicero barely managed to hold on by the skin of his teeth and literally by the skin of 2 stalkers' teeth, I should say. We saw some big macro games. We saw TVT. We saw TVZs. We saw all kinds of games, and oh man, it's been a lot of fun, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and now I'm gonna actually take this opportunity just because I sat through this giant 3-hour whatever cast fest, which don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, and I know that Old Spice Body Wash man also enjoyed it, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this opportunity to plug myself. So I am Fear Dragon. My co-caster Curtis on my face was also here, so thank you so much to Curtis. And yeah, you can actually find more of my stuff over at youtube.com/FearDragon64. I do a lot of casts. I actually do more or less daily casts. Unfortunately, this is my cast for today, but you know, I've been casting a lot of other just replays from tournaments, a lot of pro games. But one thing that I actually also do is I cast a lot of your guys' games. I will cast games that anyone submits to me at FearDragon64@gmail.com. Please submit to me any replays that you think are cast worthy, and I'll go ahead and cast those away and upload them to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and show them to your friends and all that fun stuff. I also have a Twitch TV account that you're currently here for, so go ahead and click the subscribe button. It definitely helps me out just because it gives me a bigger audience, gives me a nice fun time for all the collegiate Star League games that I mentioned this before, I'm currently still in school at Purdue University, so I cast all of Purdue University's collegiate Star League games. It'd be great if you guys decide to tune in for those, but hey, if that's not your cup of tea, I totally get it. There is actually another reason you might want to subscribe, and that's because I have an event called Balance Battles, and you know, I'll probably post a link to it in the chat in just a second, but it's an event where basically I have Master League players and actually Bronze League players of every single league playing against each other, and we kind of assign handicaps to the higher league player to try and make the game a little bit more even and a little bit more fun. It's all good fun. But yeah, I'll go ahead and post a link to that in the chat right now. So you can go ahead and tune into those. Those are going to be on Sundays. I'm starting them up next week, I believe. That's my plan. So it's going to be next week, Sunday, around around now. And if Balance Battles is happening this week, it'd be starting 15 minutes ago. So go ahead and click the subscribe button if you're interested in tuning in for those. And yeah, I have a Twitter account. Don't really care too much, but if you want to follow me there, I announce whenever I go live, except for today, except for this cast, because I completely forgot. I usually announce when I go live, and I also have announce whenever I upload a YouTube video. Yeah, that's gonna be that, guys. Congratulations to Team Rest in Peace Zealot Zone, representing I guess the website Team Something Awful. Really awesome website, lots of memes. So go ahead and check that out if you have not heard of, I guess, the website's Team Something Awful, and you too can join Team Rest in Peace Zealot Zone, because I believe that they have an A team or they have the Z team, which is basically their A team, and then they have the B team. So I think that they allow other people to just join in on that. I'm not sure how much exactly they do, but I'm sure you can go ahead and contact some of the people. I think that some of them are in the chat. But yeah, that's basically going to be that. So thank you so much to everyone that tuned in, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please go ahead and subscribe, do all that good stuff, and go play StarCraft. StarCraft's a great game. Heartless Form is out. Go tune up. We're going to have some awesome show matches coming, I'm sure, in the future. And again, also really well played from Clamazon, all Amazon employees, so all of them have full-time jobs over at Amazon. I'm sure they're very busy, but still doing a really good showing. Taking out 3 games, Cicero almost being able to take out, or bring it to the ace match at least. So yeah, well played by Clamazon, really well played by Team Rest in Peace Zeez, and that's going to be it. I swear to God, I'm done. See you guys next time, guys. Oh yeah, music from Tempo StarCraft. God, I really like his music. I really hope he doesn't sue me. I don't have rights to it or anything, but I will be removed. Oh yeah, I'm gonna upload all this stuff to my YouTube channel, so you can go and check it out there if you want to watch any of the VODs. And yeah, what was I about to say? Sorry guys, it's been like 3 hours. I'm getting tired. I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Tempo StarCraft, playing me out. Corp. Cat Ash Corp and Tempo StarCraft, playing me out.
Tasteless blood.